Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the May 6th Wolfeboro Select Board meeting. We have a pretty full agenda tonight. Just a reminder, we will put the pencils down at 9 o'clock of the public meeting, unless, of course, we have a non-public, which we will go beyond the 9 o'clock time frame. Hopefully, we'll get things done. First order of business, which was adopted just recently, is the Pledge of Allegiance. So if anybody would like to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please feel free to stand. Mr. Thurston, if you could lead us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thurston. Mr. Muccio, are we in the need of a non-public this evening?
We are under Chapter 91A, Section 3, Paragraph 2, B, hiring, and C, reputation.
Okay.
Did you say L too?
And L. We're going to go with L as well.
We're going to go with L as well?
We're going to add L to that. Okay. A couple of brief announcements before we get underway. We promised you that we'd keep you updated on the recruitment of the successor to the town manager. As you know, we have retained MRI. There's information about them up on the town's website. Since the last time we briefed you, MRI has had interviews with each one of the select board members. Additionally, they've had interviews with each one of the former town manager's direct reports. The purpose of those interviews was to get insights as to what, what works, what's not working, what could work better, what could work differently. Those interviews are blind. So in other words, we do not have direct data about who said what. But those interviews have helped us create what we call the skills and abilities document that is going to be put up on the website for any prospective candidate who may wish to apply. We've also completed a position description. There's a statutory position description, one that the law says you have to have, but we figured we'd kind of tighten it down to, really what's important for us. So we've done that. That's done. As I said, we've created what I call a skills and abilities, or what is the ideal candidate, document. We have a drone video that I just got an opportunity to see today, so we'll put that out on the website. And we've also created a community profile. And at least my personal impression is there's a lot of stuff around this community that's pretty darn good. The history, our lakes, our parks, and you have to put the pencil down and just decide there's only so much you could do. But we've created a community profile. We will have one last look at that within the next 24 hours, and then we're going live for candidate recruitment. I also want to mention that there was a request to be on the agenda for acceptance of funds, and for some reason it didn't get on our agenda. And so that's from Sue. We apologize for that happening. We'll get it back on the agenda for next time. So our bad. I don't know how it missed the agenda, but it did. The acceptance of dollars. So we'll fix that. Okay. With that, let's move into the meeting. We have consideration of minutes, April 1st, 2026 minutes. Any questions, comments about them?
Yes, I have one.
Linda?
Yeah, I'm on page 14, line 667, and it was talking, it said Mrs. Murray had 10 committees and alternates. That was a mistake. I had 8 committees and 1 alternate. The reason was that the 2025 list had me on the budget committee as an alternate, and I wasn't. You were, Mr. O'Brien.
It was a pleasure to be on the budget committee.
And it also had listed last night Wolfeboro. That's not a board committee. That's under the EDC. So that brought me down to 8 with 1 alternate. And I would like
8.
to.
All right.
Yeah, cool. I just don't want people to think I had that many.
All right. Anything else? Any other board members? John? Brian?
I have one. It's on page 13,
Yep.
line 615. Mr. Deshaies asked why 3 hash marks each lane. SHASH, not
you.
has marks. That's
Okay. Anything else? I have a motion to approve
So moved.
Second,
with amendments.
correct.
Okay. I have a motion to approve with amendments. All those in favor, rise aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're good. Next one is April 15th minutes. I think I had one here. Go ahead. Anybody have any adjustments?
Yes, I
Linda?
do, on page 10, and it is line 472, and it should be Select Board, okay, Mrs. Murray to move forward on the issue, and added Chairman O'Brien.
Added Chairman O'Brien,
Yep.
whoever that guy is. Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
I have a question. I didn't have time to go back and watch the whole meeting again, but on page 7, line 320, approval 2025 Wolfeboro Tree City, USA. So do we approve us as a Tree City for the past year or for the year going forward?
I think it's the year, it's
for
the
the
year, current year,
Current,
so
so
I
it's
think,
supposed to be 2026.
I agree with you.
That's what I believed, but I
Okay,
didn't have
yep.
time to
Okay,
double check it.
It's for the current year.
Yep, it is for the current
So
year.
that one we changed to 2026.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right, I have a couple. Page 3, line 127, 128. I believe that it's Jamie Vidum, not Vidum. So I think that's just a spelling issue for that applicant. And by the way, we owe them an answer on the speed limit thing. We're working on it. And on page 9, Mr. O'Brien, line 433, he did ask if VIN numbers must be updated, but actually they're hull identification numbers, HIN numbers.
So can we make an amendment that wherever in the document it says VIN, we change it to
Yeah,
hull identification?
I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
Johnny, you're quoted as saying prefers VINs, but you want hull ID numbers, right?
Whatever works.
Whatever works, okay. Okay, so I've made those, any others? Okay, can I have a motion to approve as amended, please?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, I have a motion and a second from Mr. Senecal. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye, no opposed, good. I think we have April 22nd, we have some additional minutes. Okay. Linda?
Yeah, first on the first page, I believe it should say Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen special meeting, then the date, where it is, and then underneath that say continuation of 4/15/2026.
No disagreement on that. Yeah.
Okay,
Got it.
then on page 2, line 64, 64, add because many committees do not have secretaries. That was my reasoning on that, so I'd like that.
Should be lenient with minute submissions because many committees do not have secretaries?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
That's
Thank you.
what I wanted. And then line 85, and I would like in there it to read, discussion reviewing sealing and unsealing of the select board. Its non-public minutes shall be done once a year. And then on the 6th line of that, it should say minutes should be changed to non-public. So that's.
What line did you do the non-public comment?
That's coming through this all, wherever it's saying minutes, it needs to say non-public minutes, because that's what we were talking about.
Very good. Anything else?
Okay, on page 3, line 99, this whole section, we're talking about our rules, and then at the end of 99, it says, Mrs. Murray will draft. Well, that should go down onto line 105, because I was going to draft cell phone, and I couldn't.
I think you did, didn't you? It's in
I
the-
did,
you
yeah, but it's in the wrong place, is what I'm
So you
trying.
want to put it on 105?
Yeah, I want to put it on 105.
Yeah. The reason we go through this is this is important to us. We're trying to get our rules of procedure, our code of conduct, and all that stuff squared and on a hunk of paper that we're all going to sign. And so we got to get this stuff right so that when someone says, hey, you were supposed to, we can look it up and say, you know, you're right, we were supposed to. Okay?
Okay, yes, and then on page 4, I have the people in the motions. The first motion was Paul made the motion to seal the non-public minutes at 8:25 p.m. and seconded by Linda. The next motion, which is the adjournment one, it was motioned by Dave Senical to adjourn the non-public session at 8:26, seconded by Brian.
Okay.
That's all I have.
All right, I have some amendments here. Motion to approve as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, rise aye, please.
Aye.
Okay. Last set of minutes is the motion to release the non-public minutes, which is the February, was it February 18th?
18th,
Yeah,
yes.
February 18th. Okay. Comments?
Well, don't you think we should read it? Because it's the public needs to know what we sealed.
In that meeting, we had a motion by Mr. Senical and a second by Mr. Thurston to have Attorney Fennessy write a letter requiring 212 Forest Road, Kane Family Trust, 2021 to hook up, I will, to the Forest Road sewer line. And then it was moved by myself and Brian DeShay to unseal the January 22nd, 2025 minutes through the sentence starting with Chair Murray, seal the next paragraph with the motion, unseal the rest of the minutes, minutes of March 3rd, 225, unseal through paragraph. Mr. Pinio informed on town planner, seal the next paragraph in motion, and unseal the rest. Sounds complicated, but we have to do this. Minutes of March 19th, unsealed through the sentence Chair Murray kept sealed, all paragraphs, but unsealed the motion to come out. Minutes of April 9th, 2025, unsealed through sentence starting with Chair Senical, and seal the next 3 paragraphs and unseal the rest of the minutes. Minutes of April 16th, unseal through first paragraph, seal the second paragraph, unseal the third paragraph, motion to unseal the rest. Minutes of June 4th, 2025, unseal through the first paragraph, seal the second paragraph, unseal the third paragraph, and motion seal the fourth paragraph, and motion and unseal the rest. Minutes of September 3rd, 2025, unseal through the sentence Chair Senical, seal the paragraphs 1, 2, 3, and 4, unseal paragraph 5 and the rest of the minutes. Minutes of September 10th, 2025, unseal the minutes. Minutes of October 7th, 2025, unseal the minutes. Minutes of October 15th, 2025, unseal through the first paragraph, seal the second paragraph, and unseal the rest. Minutes of October 27, unsealed through the sentence Dave Senical, seal paragraphs 1 and 2, and unseal the rest. Minutes of October 29th, 2025, unseal the minutes. Minutes of November 19th, 2025, unseal the minutes. Minutes of December 3rd, 2025, unseal through the sentence Chair Senical, seal the paragraphs 1 and 2, and unseal the rest. Minutes of December 30th, unsealed through the sentence Chair Dave Senical, seal paragraphs 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and unseal the rest. Dave Senical, yes. Linda Murray, yes. Paul O'Brien, yes. Brian, we typoed your name. We'll fix that. Brian DeShays, yes. John Thurston, yes. The motion passed. Any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion here, please, to let this go out?
I make a motion that we release that paragraph you just read.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second as amended. We'll correct the spelling of Mr. DeShay's name. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're all good? Okay.
Paul, should there be a 2-sentence explanation of why we unseal some minutes and leave others sealed?
I don't know. What do you guys think?
The only difference is if the issue that we sealed them for is no longer needs to be sealed, we unsealed them. If it was for still need to be sealed, we kept them. So,
And the sealed minutes are for reputation, for hiring, for
there's a whole
employment.
list- there's a whole list of
time,
all the
legal,
different-
things like that that need to be kept
Yeah.
for employees. privacy and other things.
So I think you've answered the question, and I appreciate that, Brian. I do. Okay. The next part of the agenda is public input. 3 minutes, total of 15. Good afternoon.
Hi. Suzanne Ryan, resident and sponsor of the Libby Warrant Article number 25. I wish to bring to your attention the center section of that warrant article, the verbiage. If passed, which it did, 1739 to 490, the first step will be to create a new 501c3, a nonprofit, to fundraise and reopen and re-envision the Libby Museum. That section of the warrant article can be read independent of the removal of the Board of Selectmen as trustees. And with that said, I'd like to introduce Sebastian Donato and Madeline Long of the Downtown Grill. I know some of you know who that is.
The North Main Cafe.
To speak to that, to speak to that issue.
We're still in the 3-minute window.
Good evening. Sebastian Tordonato, and this is my cohort here, Madeline Long, also known as the caffeine queen of the North Main Cafe. I have a statement I'd like to read for your consideration, and I don't usually read these, but today I'm going to read one. In response to the recent passage of Article 25, we're pleased to announce the formation of a new organization to fulfill the original intent of Dr. Libby's gift to the town of Wolfeboro. Per the terms of Dr. Libby's will, the Libby Museum was bequeathed in trust to the town of Wolfeboro for the benefit of the community in 1956. It was envisioned that the Select Board trustees would continue to operate the Libby as a museum of nature and history focused on the local indigenous flora and fauna, works of art, curiosities, and artifacts of the area surrounding Wolfeboro, New Hampshire. The name of this new organization is the Libby Museum Preservation Society Incorporated, or LMPS. And it was formed with the intent of becoming the successor trustees for the Libby Museum. This new organization will be dedicated to reimagine and carry forward the legacy of the Libby Museum by raising enough money to restore the building or rebuild it as a replica, and continuing its rich history of operating the museum in the future for the benefit of the community. The Libby Museum Preservation Society will operate the museum under the brand name of the Libby Museum Discovery Center. Our mission is to engage learners of all ages in the exploration and appreciation of the Lakes region, natural history, and ecosystems. As we work toward achieving these goals, the Libby Museum Preservation Society welcomes the assistance and collaboration of the Select Board trustees, other charitable organizations, and the public who share our goals and vision of protecting and preserving the Libby Museum. Warrant Article 25 demonstrated that there are many residents who share in our goals of protecting and preserving the Libby Museum, of reinstating it to its formal iconic status as a premier natural history museum, and as a destination for citizens and visitors in the town of Wolfeboro.
Sebastian, are you going to go much longer? Because I'm going to ask the public if there's anybody else that wants to speak. If anybody else wants to speak, then they're going to get up. I have 6 minutes here. You're over your time.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Be done in a second.
Thank you.
We invite the trustee liaison, which I believe is Brian, to facilitate and host a meeting between the trustees, the Friends of the Libby, and the Libby Museum Preservation Society to establish a plan and path forward to return the Libby Museum to its former glory. And I thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Sebastian. Okay. Thank you. Somebody else? Anybody else want to speak? Carol? 3 minutes, please.
Carol McMahon, 21-year resident in Wolfeboro. I'm here tonight to address the parking space issue and ask that you please consider the restaurants, the merchants, the residents, the summer residents, and all the other visitors, and the very limited parking spaces in Wolfeboro. And the fact that we no longer have Molly the trolley to bring people around. So it's more important than ever to not have those parking spaces taken away. So, and it's proven by that we had those extra room that people still cross wherever the hell they want, you know. And I've been here for 21 years, and it could be, but I don't recall anybody being hit on Main Street before. So there could be, I just maybe don't remember it. But so when you decide what you're going to do, please take away at least, give us back at least one of those on each of those crosswalks, because the parking is so crucial to downtown. There is no other place unless they go to the municipal lot, and that's not everybody can walk that far, you know, the visitors and things like that. So that's what I ask you to please consider, those facts.
Carol, thank you. Anyone else? Good evening, Sue.
Susan Bunting, Wolfeboro resident. Paul, I want to thank you. You just blew holes in 2 pages I was going to read tonight by saying that it was overlooked not to represent the many 24 people that have donated and have not been mentioned for 2 months. So I appreciate you recognizing that. I also want to say that we need to demonstrate that the generous and hardworking individuals, businesses, and private foundations that donate to the renovation of the community center, that they receive the recognition and fiscal assurance that they deserve. I also, want to say thank you to Amy. She's been incredibly helpful to me personally. I get the ledger from her so that I can send thank you notes out to everyone that has donated, regardless of the amount, in a very timely fashion. I know she's overworked, so I want to publicly tell her how much I appreciate that she makes the time to keep the website updated and to give me the information I need to send out proper thank you letters to people. And finally, I'm really happy to hear, scuttlebutt, I don't know if it's for real, that there's going to be some action taken to do some repairs to the outside of the community center. That looks horrific, with the $5,000 that's in the budget for 2026 that was approved in the general fund 0145207435 for building maintenance. And please do not allow the community center to deteriorate any further, making the proposed renovations even more costly than currently estimated. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight.
Thanks, Ms. Bunting. We appreciate that. Anyone else? Sir. 3 minutes, please.
Sewell Road, and I have 3 concerns that I'd like to address. The first one is, in meetings that I've gone to for the last 5 or 6 years, we have the public session where you guys don't respond, but I never know what you guys do after, such as 2 things I'm thinking about is, about 4 or 5 months ago, we talked about the rec department, what is going on there and what isn't. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the sand and salt that's being put down on the roads, but I never hear anything back from the selectmen. I come to the meetings expecting maybe they talked about this, maybe they didn't. So I don't know what your responsibilities are for that, but I'm very interested in knowing what you guys think about these things. Did you talk to people? And what? My second issue is, when I send in a letter to the selectmen, what are your requirements for getting back to me? Is it 18 days? Is it 2 months? Or is it never? I've had some letters I've written, I've never heard back. The latest one took 18 days, and I had to remind you guys that I wanted a response. The third concern I have is on the capacity of the sewer plant. I've heard 92%, we're at 92% capacity. I've heard we're at 50%, depending who you talk to. If I go on the web, the latest data on the sewer plant is 2009. And we talk about then having 36,000 gallons come through a day and 600,000 possible. That's like 64%. What is it? When you guys want to get a new sewer facility, do you use the 92%? When you want to add people to it, do you use the 50%? Something in between, but your website needs to be dated. I've called over there, talked to people, know how many people are hooked up, but what's really going on? Thank you. I think my 3 minutes are up.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay. Hopefully we'll start answering some of those questions. Okay. Anyone else? We are done with public input at the moment. Okay, public hearings. We have a couple of public hearings on a similar topic. And let me read the first one into the record so we can get it underway. This is the receipt of unanticipated funds. Wolfeboro Select Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, May 6th at 6 p.m. for acceptance of unanticipated funds under $10,000 in accordance with RSA 31:9-B2A relative to a donation from Watermark Marine of an installation and replacement of a town-owned dock in Back Bay valued at $9,500 on behalf of the Abenaki Water Ski Club. Is there anyone here who would like to speak to that? Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Bob Shiloh, and I'm representing the Abenaki Water Ski Club ski club tonight as a board member. And do you have any particular questions on further down that item?
Board members.
Could you give us a presentation on what you plan to do and why you plan to do it and what the long-term lifespan of the new dock might be?
Sure. The current dock in place has been there since 1998 and was installed at that time by the Abenaki Water Ski Club with permission from the town and was received by the town as such. The Abenaki Ski Club has maintained that facility, that dock, ever since then, and to the best of my knowledge, the town has never had to spend a penny on that item. So that dock is utilized by anybody in the town. It's part of the town park back there. We utilize it as related to the ski course. So we are planning to update that. We've done maintenance upon it, and it's in, I provided some information that had some pictures, and as you might see from those pictures, the dock is in kind of rough shape. We have a tremendous event coming up that's going to be highlighting an awful lot of things that will really showcase Wolfeboro, and would like that dock to be in good shape for that. And so we have reached out to our sponsors, one of which is Watermark Marine, and they have generously offered to replace that dock in kind at 6 feet by 30 feet, and we think that's a great opportunity for the town.
Is that the existing size of the dock?
That's exactly
6 by 30?
the existing size, yes.
Did you, you good?
So they give you a lifespan? You said 1998 is when, so it's lasted 26 years?
Right. So currently it's going to be replaced by pressure-treated posts going down into, into the bed and so forth. And further down this application, you will notice that we've also asked to have the town receive a gift from the ski club of $3,000, which covers the permitting cost.
That's the next one.
Yes, and also improving the dock surface so it will last longer than pressure-treated and be better for the community and for anybody using it.
So I understand you owe Amy an insurance certificate?
We will be, if there is a letter of agreement from the town that they will allow Watermark Marine to represent them as the agent pursuing that permit with the DES, then yes, they will provide a certificate of insurance.
And I understand you had a chat with Mr. Randall about what's going on down there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Everything good on your side? Board members, any other questions here? We do have, and it'll be in the minutes, we do have photographs of this dock. It looks a little tattered. Board members, questions, comments?
Well, are you going to ask if anybody in the public wants to speak?
Oh, that's right, I should do that first, shouldn't I?
Well, it's okay, you can, as long as you do it.
Okay, I'm going to ask anybody in the public, do they want to speak? See how good I am at this? That's pretty good. Anybody in the public have a thought? I'll close the public hearing. Board members.
Yeah, I think this is a wonderful gift to the town. We've had a use of a dock that they donated.
Yep.
It is at the end of its useful life. They have come up with another way to put in a new dock at no expense to the taxpayers, and I want to thank them for doing that.
You're welcome.
Sounds pretty good.
We hope.
Sounds like a good situation. Okay, anything else? Board members, I'm going to...
Just one.
Go ahead, John.
So you mentioned it's available to the public when you guys aren't using it. Is that true? No?
I wouldn't classify it as when we're not using it. Anybody can get down there, whether we're using it or not. It's open to anybody at any time. We happen to take up a fair amount of time of it during our practices or tournaments. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make it exclusive.
So what would happen if somebody hooked their boat up to it?
And, well, they can. We've seen boats put in there, use that location to stand by and go over to the park and have a picnic and so forth. We frequently hook our boats up to it while we're in between sessions of practicing and stuff like that. But we kind of treat it like the lake, whereas it's not our water, it's not really our dock, and we anticipate other people have the right to use it.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, I guess my question is, is this have you had conflicts? Has there been any issues? Had any problems? No?
With other people using it?
Yeah, no. Okay, good. Okay. All right. And kids can use it. They can go fishing.
They do.
Sail their sailboats off the back. Get an advantage in the race, right? I've seen them do that. Okay, any other comments, questions from the board? John,
No.
Linda?
I'll move to a...
Hang on a second, John.
Can we combine the two?
I think we ought to do them separately.
All right.
Move to accept a unanticipated funds under 10,000 in accordance with RSA 31:95B relative to a donation from Watermark Marine of an installation and replacement in kind of a town-owned dock in Back Bay valued at $9,500 on behalf of the Abenaki Water Ski Club.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more conversation? Okay, let's, all those in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
We all good? No opposed? Thank you.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere. I got to no. I have a second unanticipated funds issue here. The Wolfeboro Select Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, May 6th at 6 p.m. for the acceptance of unanticipated funds under $10,000 in accordance with RSA 31:95B3 relative to a donation from Abenaki Water Ski Club to cover the permitted costs and additional decking material towards the installation and replacement of a town dock owned by Back Bay, a town dock in Back Bay, valued at $3,000. It's all yours. What's up?
Covered a lot of that in the previous, but basically it's to improve the surface, to give it longer life, and to have a better experience when walking on it, not slipping on it or anything like that. And the permitting expense, Watermark Marine expected us to, or the town to come up with the $1,200 anticipated amount for the permit, and we'd be willing to cover that. So between the surface of the dock and the permit, that's the approximate $3,000.
And what type of surfacing material are you going to put down? Do you know?
We're planning on one of the, it would be similar to Trex.
Like a Trex, a composite product?
It would be a composite, but it's the next stage up, something that was just recently shown to me, and it really does emulate a wood surface in appearance and in feel. So it wouldn't be slippery, but it wouldn't be overly rough, and it would look a little bit more natural.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. All right, I'm going to open the public hearing.
You got it.
I got it, nailed it.
Nailed it.
Public
Yep.
hearing, anybody want to have a comment or a question here? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Board members?
Nope, I think this is great, the whole thing. I'll make a motion to accept the unanticipated funds under $10,000 in accordance with RSA 31:95-B3A relative to a donation from the Abenaki Water Ski Club to cover the permitting costs and additional docking material towards the installation and replacement of a town-owned dock in Back Bay valued at $3,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further conversation? All those in favor of supporting the motion, say aye.
Aye.
We're good. Thank you.
And this is a great example of a private-public partnership and how
Absolutely.
things work well when everybody just coexists and gets along.
How you feeling, Bill? Doing good?
I think there's just one last item there that was basically the town will provide Watermark Marine with a letter stating that they will enable Watermark Marine to act.
I have a note here from Amy saying, get with the program here, Paul, and get this thing done so we can get the...
And if you need documentation from them, that would be, they've done this before, so
Okay.
they're willing to
Okay,
help
good.
out with that.
Okay, well, thank you for that. We have a bulk vote in front of us. We changed the rules a little bit last time and moved temporary event permits into the bulk vote to help the applicants speed up the process, kind of get things done. But we always will make it available for anyone who wants to come in for a temporary event permit to come up and speak. So with the permission of the board, I'm going to ask that we go item B before A because we have somebody here who wants to talk about things. Is there any objection to that?
Nope.
No objection? Nope. So we have a temporary event permit for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation of Northern New England is going to host the Great Strides Wolfeboro Walk on May 16th, 2026 from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Foss Field, permit number 2026-34. And we're not having a public hearing, but you're free to talk about what you plan to do, and the floor is yours for a couple of minutes.
We've had this event with you guys, hosting it for well over a decade. We've taken over it the last 3 years. But it's pretty much just been something that you guys have allowed us to do within the town limits. We have police escort and have taken care of all of their kind of permitting and stuff like that through the town and safety aspects. But otherwise, we just want to ask for permission to be able to go for a little walk and try to bring support to cystic fibrosis and try to raise some money and awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like a national day, or is this just done in the New England area on this given day?
So it's a national organization,
Yes.
but this particular weekend is done all over, like the state of New Hampshire and New England. Like they have their walks all at the same time,
Yeah.
kind of like Relay for Life and everything.
And that's the way you've done it in the past, too. It's the New England area has this on this given date?
Correct, yeah. So like Manchester and like other bigger places all have them at the same time. But when we were given the opportunity to keep this walk, we wanted to try to keep one more local to this area,
Sure.
Just so that people didn't have to travel, because the next closest one was about 45 minutes away.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Linda?
Yeah, I do want to make one comment, and there is a note here about the Smith River Canoe Race, but the canoe race is this year going off at 10 instead of 1, so there may be some congestion with parking, just so you know that it's at a different time at this point.
So it's a really small event for us. We usually only have about 10 to 20 people that show up, about 5 to 6 cars. We usually park like in that municipal parking area by like Little Foss Field and stuff like that, and then we just kind of walk the trail almost to Albee Beach. So we really shouldn't come into too much of crossover with the Smith River Canoe Race.
But there will be cars coming down there because the Smith River Canoe Race shuttles
Right,
people
but that's
down.
why we have the police
just
officer
letting you
comes
know.
just to he blocks the traffic at all the crosswalks and stuff like that. But we, like I said, we have a pretty small group, so we try to anticipate getting across the road as quickly as possible and not blocking anybody from being able to travel through.
Yeah, this is just a heads up. It's gonna
This
be
is a
busy
heads
day.
up.
It's a heads up.
It used to go off at 1 and there was no, this one's going off at 10. So there's going to be way more people downtown, just for your information.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, I'm going to read into the record a bunch of material here as it relates to our bulk vote. We have weekly manifests for April 17th, 2026, $477,697.76. April 24th, 2026 for $102,933.10. May 1st, 2026, $2,649,227.26. That is a school payment. We've already reviewed the temporary event permit. We have intent to cut Stoneham Road, tax map 38, lot 7, and tax map 155, lot 5 and 6, $2,125.48. 125 Haynes Hill Road, tax map 71, lot 12, $876.96. Beach Pond Road, tax map 30, lot 9. These are intent to cuts. We now have property tax credits and exemptions. 1 Santos Way, tax map 177, block 10, lot 136. 144 Oakwood Road, tax map 259, lot 58. 381 North Main Street, tax map 187, lot 9. 22 Robin Acres, tax map 126, lot 54. 40 Union Street, tax map 217, lot 76. 29 Winnipesaukee Drive, tax map 272, lot 11. 85 Whitten Neck Road, tax map 191, lot 64. 50 York Road, tax map 129, lot 2. 16 Percy Drive, tax map 163, lot 18. 747 Beach Pond Road, tax map 30, lot 4. 4 Berrywood Drive, tax map 202, lot 90. 204 Cotton Valley Road, tax map 137, lot 5. Birch Hill Estates Road, tax map 177, block 10, lot 29. 9 Wildwood Lane, tax map 167, lot 69. 88 Ambrose Way, tax map 188, block 1, lot 4. 672 South Main Street, tax map 260, lot 90. 17 North Wolfeboro Road, tax map 23, lot 4. 56 Wambeck Road, tax map 159, block 17, lot 1. 1135 Center Street, tax map 57, lot 3. 12 Birch Hill Estates Road, tax map 177, block 10, lot 15. 543 Beach Pond Road, tax map 67, block 18, lot 8. Now we have a continuation of property tax refunds and abatements. 170 Center Street, 2025 number 40, tax map 190, lot 77 for $2,002.17. 100 Sewell Road, 2025 number 59, tax map 229, lot 45 for $1,181.98. 46 Albee Beach Road, number 34, tax map 164, lot 36 for $1,810.23. 4 Edwards Way, number 47, tax map 191, lot 11, $160.18. And 187 Kingswood Road, number 63, tax map 251, lot 2 for $1,717.69. In addition, we have a boat agent agreement with the Goodhue Boat Company. This is it's an annual housekeeping item for us. This the organization is formerly known as Goodhue and Hawkins. They were appointed by the board as agent to issue boat registration as a convenience to customers. So if somebody wants to go register their boat, they can hop on Sewell Road, go down and register their boat at Goodhue. And because they're open when the town clerk's office is not open, so it's a good, nice balance. And Jeremiah Burke, who is not here tonight, but Jeremiah Burke was the person who submitted it. This is revenue neutral to the town. You know, this is not one of these things where it all works out very well for boaters. It works out well for the convenience of the customers. So with that, I have read into the record A through F, and I'd like to get a motion if possible.
I have a comment to make.
You have a comment to make?
Yes, I thought it would be interesting for the public to know that under the property tax credits and exemptions, there were 4 solar, 2 elderly, and 16 veterans.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, wait a minute. Thank you.
You had to do this.
And I was going to say that there's an income threshold for the elderly, and the veterans get a larger credit if they're permanently disabled. The abatements add up to around $5,000 on a $5 billion tax evaluation.
4.9, but close enough.
Yeah.
So it's very, very, very small.
Yeah, and when we look at setting the tax rate and use unassigned fund balance, we take a certain amount of money and set it aside because we know we're going to have X number amount of abatements, and we have more in the years that we reassess. So we took care of that and looked at that particular time. The boat agent agreement, the town does receive revenue that they collect for us. So that's been, as I recall, quite a number of years ago, we got $12,000 more from what they have. So
It's
that's
a convenience.
good deal.
It's revenue neutral. It's good for us. It's good
a
for
good deal
everybody.
for us.
It's a great deal. And plus, you can go down to Goodhue and register your boat and get a sweatshirt. Any other comments? Can I get a motion, please, for bulk vote A through F?
So moved.
Second.
Any conversation about this? All those in favor of approving bulk vote A through F, raise your hand.
Aye.
We're all good? Thank you very much. Okay, board and committee appointments. We have one at the Economic Development Committee, Cindy Fournier, 3-year term. Is Cindy here? Mr. Duchesne, would you like to speak to this?
Cindy's been vital to our group. She helps out with all the events, with Lake Winnipesaukee Day, with First Night, with our business recap at the end of the year every year, and I'm glad that she's staying to help us.
A motion, please?
Motion to approve Cindy Fournier to a 3-year term for the Economic Development Committee of Wolfeboro.
I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Senecal. Any conversation? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We're all good? Thank you. Under new business, we have an approval for a commercial vessel landing permit for Wake Winnie Wolfeboro Water Sports LLC. Are you tweeting over there? We have a Godfrey Aqua Patio Pontoon, Godfrey Pontoon, Nautique GS22 Red, Nautique GS22 Teal, Berkshire Pontoon, Harris Pontoon. Is there somebody here to speak to it? Sir.
How's it going? I'm Colin Frucci. I'm the new owner at Wake Winnie here in town, formerly owned by Torin, who most of you may know. I'm seeking commercial landing permits for these 6 vessels for customer pickup and drop off.
And you're going to provide hull ID numbers? Amy's already?
Yes, yep, I'll get those to her right away.
Okay, and I think your insurance and everything, the vessels are listed on your insurance, but we don't have your hull ID numbers. We'll need that.
Okay, I'll get those to her right away.
Okay, board members. Linda.
Yeah, when I was looking at the permit, and since it is a new permit, the new company, I would like to add a sentence, and it says, for use on only commercial dock 1. They ask you to read our ordinance, but that is the real important piece of it, is it's only permission on that one dock.
Is that the one in front of Dockside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just making sure you understand it's just for that dock.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's aimed at making sure we all understand what the rules are, whatever they are at the moment. Dock 1 is where he is, so coming over and parking on, where the guests would be parking would probably not be a good idea.
Correct.
Okay, so you're cool with that?
Yes.
Okay, we're cool with that too. Okay, so we'll put that in the document. Amy will do that for us if she's listening at all to make sure we get it. Brian?
Just out of curiosity, where will the boats be docked when they're not in use at our town drop-off location?
They'll mostly be stored on land. However, we have 2 slips at the dive gas dock and then a mooring at the Wind Drifter. Okay. So if they're not rented out, they'll be on land in Wolfeboro.
Okay.
So there's nothing overnight. There's no drop and leave. You're just coming here to pick up passengers, and when you're done, I think I saw Torin once or twice back in the trailer into the water and pulling the crafts
Exactly.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? You good? Everybody good? Okay, let's get a motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the vessel landing permit for Wake Winnie for the Godfrey pontoon, Nautique, Berkshire pontoon, Harris pontoon.
I'll second.
2 items on the motion, Dave. You wouldn't mind? Hull ID numbers have to come in, and,
Yes,
and there's going to be a notation that it's for use only on Dock 1. You cool with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Second
A
as
motion and a
amended.
second from Brian. Any conversation? All those in favor, aye, please? Aye. All right, we're good. It's unanimous. Congratulations, welcome. Have a good summer. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the Bailey's Bubble parking space request. Good evening.
Good evening.
Back again.
I'm back. I'm making my yearly appearance representing Bailey's Bubble, which is located at 5 Railroad Ave. And I am here to request permission to block off the 3 spaces directly in front of Bailey's Bubble at 5:30 in the evening so that we can keep the sidewalk available for people who are not customers to walk by, and also for the safety of the people waiting in line and the safety of the people driving their vehicles as well.
And you normally position some type of plant pot, my word bollard, but it's not. A plant pot, something that denotes to someone operating a vehicle that's probably you don't want to hit that.
Correct. It's a, I put it on a rolling coaster.
Yeah, I have a coaster.
And yes, and last year you asked me if I could make it higher, so I did put plants that are higher, more visible.
Correct.
Also, last year I asked for 6 o'clock. This year I'm asking 5:30, only because we got caught many times last year with people either coming in and working a night shift at another location and parking right in front of the bubble, and that kept that space occupied. It just made it harder for, people, and honestly, I wouldn't want my car parked there because people are leaning all over it. Children are eating ice cream.
Gooey ice cream all over your car.
Right.
That's sweet. I did have the occasion to ask the police department if they had any issues, questions, difficulties, and both the chief and the captain didn't. And the captain's here tonight, right? You guys didn't have any issues with this. All right, good. Okay. All right. Do we have a public hearing need for this?
No, it's not listed as a public hearing.
So we're just
No.
going to ask the board. Do you have any questions? Deb? John?
How you doing tonight, Deb?
Good, thanks.
So last year I spoke about the pedestrians and people out there that might not want to be doing good things. And when the people are out in the middle of the road, last year I saw some positive signs. I saw the people coming down in front of Berkshire going that way. I did see a couple other times when they were still out in the road. I think I saw them more going the Berkshire way on more occasions, but in those other occasions, will you be going out there and trying to guide people and redirect them?
Absolutely. And it's interesting on July 4th, which is obviously our busiest day of the year, the lines each window went in opposite directions, which it worked out okay, except they were on the sidewalk, which is hard for people trying to walk on the sidewalk. But yes, it's very interesting to see how it forms every night. But we try to keep a very close eye on it and go out. Doesn't always work.
So the other question that comes to mind is when I'm there with my son. There's usually either one line, and he says, "Well, Dad, we just need to stay in this line," but there's a couple of windows. So sometimes you don't know if the line breaks for the 2 windows or if it's just one line. I know that was brought to my attention.
He's trying to figure out how to jump the line. That's really
It should be 2 lines, but once in a while, it will be one line, and then when they get up to the curb, they wait, and then they hopefully alternate and go to each window, but there really should be 2 lines.
He's trying to figure out how to jump the line.
I'm just trying to be acquiescent of my son.
So do you need a motion?
We do.
So I'll move to approve the 3 parking spots from 5:30 till close for the summer season,
Madeline.
or spring, summer, and fall season for Bailey's Bubble, to have them cordoned off for safety.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Senecal. Any more conversation, folks? Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. Aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. We're all good, John?
Yep.
He's good?
Thank you very much.
Good season.
Appreciate
Have fun. Yep. Okay, we have a couple of discussions coming up, and these are going to be by Mr. Randall. I'll just read them into the record, and then, Steve, you can kind of take us through them. One discussion is going to be on outside engineering for water, sewer, and road divisions. And you have Stantec with you, I guess, for that as backup, okay? Why don't we do that one first, and then we'll get to the others, okay?
Good evening, Steve Randall, Director of Public Works. Yes, I want to start with that one so that I can get these nice gentlemen in and out. There's just been a lot of discussion in town recently about engineering, how we do it, what we do. So I kind of thought it would be nice to just kind of bring that back forward again as a little bit of a reminder of how we do business here in Wolfeboro. Right now we employ mainly 3 engineering services, 3 engineering companies, depending on what purpose we're looking for. Wood and Kern runs our sewer treatment plant. They are also taking care of our pump station evaluations for us, our sewer pump station evaluations. Underwood is kind of our numbers guys. So they do our rate studies, our capacity studies, and then where we go from here on the water sewer side, per se. Stantec does our roads and whatever infrastructure might fall into those roads. They took care of out here, for instance, one of the most recent water main project out here. Since I've been here, we've done Highland Terrace, we've done Green Street, we have River Street teed up for this year. Those are what I call our complete streets, or as close to complete streets projects as we have. The other thing that they do for us that was started many years ago, they also work for us under what's called the general services contract. So outside of big road projects, they serve as our go-to when we need something or have questions. We have a culvert that is too large, let's say, too large for us to replace under our maintainer license. We need permitting, we need wetlands, we need things like that. We go to them. If we have general questions on things in general, how we need to do things, we need another set of eyes, we go to them. They function for us under that general services contract to do that. They also serve very well in working with the other 2 that we have. So those 3, as we've pared our services down to kind of like those 3 in that triangle, they also all work well with each other. So Stantec has taken over the Mill Street oversight that we had from another engineering company that had designed it quite a few years back. We had to employ a third-party oversight. We can't do that in-house. Stantec serves that purpose for us. Well, in doing so, in making sure everything is good, they work with Wood and Kern a lot. Wood and Kern runs the treatment plant. So those companies work in conjunction with each other. Underwood, the same thing. They did our capacity study. In doing so, they need to get information from said plant. All of those companies work very well together. And, we all meet, independently. Public Works meets with each firm roughly once a month. We get caught up. What are we doing? What do we need to do? Where are we going forward in the future? Planning, those functions. So what I just kind of wanted to do is just take a few minutes, kind of bring that to the forefront again. These guys are willing to come in and just kind of go through what they have done for the town over the last close to 20 years that they've been working here. The projects they've done, what they bring to the table, and how they can continue to service the town of Wolfeboro going forward. So before I bring them up, does anybody have any questions?
Board members, questions?
I don't have
Brian, do you have a question?
Yeah, not explicitly about this, but there has been a lot of information around. Am I correct that our sewer capacity for the amount that we can process is at 50%? So we're about halfway through what it can process?
So and this goes to Mr. Owens' conversation.
Okay.
And he and I talked a week or so ago and tried to straighten that out for him. Because there is a little bit of this, there's two heads to that coin. There is the plant ability to process and our ability to
get rid of the effluent.
And the ability to get rid of the effluent is the main issue. That is what is at 92% right now. The capacity of the plant is running 52-ish, let's say.
Okay.
So those are two different arguments, two different conversations. It's very similar to our water plant and our water plant capacity of what the plant can process for clean water for us to drink versus where we get it from.
Yeah.
Those are two different numbers.
Perfect. Thank you.
But, and I'll deal, are we going to deal with water and sewer in a bit?
We're going to deal with water.
So I want to piggyback on what Brian had, but I'll let you keep going. So I had a question about the three organizations. So you have three engineering and operations, and because Wood and Curran operates, right?
They operate in design, yes.
Okay, so they're a design and operator. And the folks at Stantec are design. They're not operating anything.
Correct.
They're design, and I don't mean that in a diminutive way, okay? Our third is a design company. You say they're the numbers.
Correct.
Kinds of people. Okay. Which then begs the question about the sandbox. You said they're all kind of playing well in the sandbox, which is good. And this is a leading question, but is this configuration that you're put together, is this helping us? Because we've had a hard time trying to find, we've had this, we can fix a problem, just hire an engineer, just go get one of those. Is this helping us with just go get one of those because we haven't had any luck getting one of those?
So as far
as,
what I mean? Yeah, your question is town engineer. That is what.
My question is what?
Is a town engineer and what that purpose, at least that's how I'm understanding your question. Yeah. So the purpose of a town engineer, they don't actually engineer anything. They oversight, right? Linda likes to refer like a second set of eyes. But typically speaking, in most municipalities anywhere, a town engineer doesn't actually design anything. That comes back to mostly liability. And what is their specialty, right? So engineers are a lot like, I really don't want to compare them to a doctor.
Don't go there.
But the concept is similar. everybody has their thing.
Specialties.
Sorry, everybody's good at something.
Everybody has their specialties that they work on. By utilizing what we do with them, we get an environmental engineer, we get a hydrologist, we get a civil, we get a pump guy, we get all of these things under one roof. So that's the benefit of that. As far as the second set of eyes, if we require those, that's what we have that sandbox for. We can shift those around. If it's a matter of oversight, which is where we run into a lot of the time. Back in the old days, I even date myself. Back in the old days, we could oversee our own projects a lot. But now with the way funding works, we can't do that. They're not going to let us control the purse strings and okay our own stuff. It just doesn't work. So you have to have somebody that is approved. When we had Stantec do the oversight for Mill Street, that had to go through DES approval. They had to do a full thing, submit qualifications, it had to get approved. That's a big deal. I mean, you're talking millions of dollars that get spent. You can't just say, well, Brian is our point guy.
Oh, no.
And he's gonna okay the project and away we go. It doesn't work like that anymore.
Mr. Duchesne.
So I want people to try and understand this too. If you build a house, you're not going to build one without having a hiccup. There's going to be something that has to be redone, refixed. Something's going to happen. It always does. When you have manufacturers that manufacture automobiles, Toyota's having major recalls on engines. They have They have factories full of engineers designing engines that they've been designing for 125 years, and they still come across a bad engineering decision and they have bad product. We have eyes on all of our projects all the time. We do a great job. We watch everything. We dot the I's, we cross the T's, but sometimes something's just not going to go perfect. And people have to understand that. And we go back and we fix.
And you know, to go on with that a little bit more too is, I think having a really good, cohesive partnership with firms makes a big difference. And I think keeping that, I don't think a one-stop shop is a good idea. You know, I'm not going to hire just a one. You know, that Stantec, they're sitting right here in the room, and they know this. They are more than big enough to handle everything we want to do, but it is nice to have different stuff. You know, it's everybody kind of does their thing, right? And then if we need them to share or to work together or to balance, it works well. But you don't have all your eggs in one basket. And not only that, on the flip side of that is having a new engineer in town every year to do something different. There is no continuity there. You don't know, they don't know what we're expecting. We don't know what we're getting out of them. We've been down that path before my time here with different, RIB is a perfect example, you know, of things that we've tried that has not necessarily worked. Correct. So sticking with something, in my opinion, that is proven, that works, or at least until it won't. But I mean, Wood and Kern has run our sewer plant for 20 years. Long time.
Long time.
And they do a great job with it. And even when they change over staff, which they have done over the last 8 or 9 months, you know, they have changed over. Guys have retired, moved on. They have a new crop that comes in. They are fantastic to work with. You know, they know their stuff. So when we put our plants, our pump stations out to bid last year, we got 12 engineering firms that bid on, roughly 12, I think. And Josh and I sat down and we went through them and we started to pair out. We brought in, I think, 5 and did interviews with them. We paired them down to 3. And the 3 we happened to pair down to were the 3 that we work with all the time. Because those 3 knew what we were looking for. They knew our town and they knew how we worked. So that was huge. And then we ended up going with Wood and Kern for that because they run the sewer plant. So those things, those dots make sense.
Mr. Thurston?
How you doing tonight, Steve?
Pretty good, John.
All right. So I'm going to be site-specific on a couple items here.
Please.
Who did our engineering oversight for the sewer line extension on Forest Road?
We did that in-house.
What was the date of that?
That was started in 23.
23?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
thank you.
finished roughly fall of 24. Yeah.
23.
Do we need an engineer to do any oversight on that line going
I have already
forward?
spoken. I'm going to look into that. So
What's the issue?
Not,
Before we, because it sounds like we're talking.
I'm just asking the question.
No, I think he was going to look into it. What is
the issue you're looking into?
So there is some questions on pipe sizing, on rate, flow rate. We've had some issues with airbound. So I can't speak to a lot of it, John, because I didn't get water and sewer till the end of 24. So I wasn't even part of that project per se. So I can't speak to it as well as I would like to. So those are things that I'm digging into actually now. I have spoken with these guys about, I've given them a heads up that we might need to do an eval on it. I have some questions, which I've told other people, so it's not a secret.
And John, I want to make sure we're clear. I wasn't poking at you. When it sounded like you guys were having a conversation that we weren't plugged into. We want to get it all out there. If there's an issue on Forest Road line,
so
deal with us.
Right, and again,
John's up next. You're still up.
I can
Go ahead.
continue.
So just for the record, you and I did not have a conversation. I mean,
No.
I don't know why you just said that.
I could hear that there was something going on there. I just wanted to make sure.
No, I just asked the question.
Got it. What's next, John?
So, do you want to elaborate?
So yeah, we've identified a few things in some of the issues we've had as of late. We've done a lot of work on that road. We've spent I think just under $12,000 on new air bleed offs of things to put in and to try to correct some of the stuff. But again, not being part of it and going backwards on it, I have questions. So until I am satisfied with it.
So let me just finish off on that though. So when that, and the answer could be just no. When something like that gets done, built, designed, let's say built, installed, when this is all over, do you get an as-built from the company? So you have one for this particular one?
Yes.
That's good news.
Yes.
The good news is you have one. The bad news is what got put in may not be what you wanted or what we need. What we need.
I don't know.
Okay, good.
And the answer to that is I'm not sure yet.
Okay. You got another one, John?
Yes, please. So these are all related to Mr. Owen's question about our capacity to get rid of effluent. So we have the ribs, we have the lagoon and the spray fields, and then we have new expansion. So who's our engineer who evaluates the ribs? Is that Wood and Curran?
That's Underwood.
Okay.
Well, both. So I guess it both, John. So operationally speaking, Wood and Curran is doing that. Underwood, we've started a path of Underwood because they had a lot of information on the RIBs back. They, I believe, did the original design, and we went with Wright Pierce.
Pierce was who? No, Underwood had nothing to do. Underwood came in after the failure.
Right, and fixed it. So they have a lot of information. There is some question about whether or not we have some expansion left up there. Things like that we're looking at. Buried drip line. So those are things that we're into right now.
So the million-dollar question, new expansion, who's going to be our engineer doing that?
For expansion for what?
The effluent capacity.
Well, when that goes through, once we get an idea, that will end up going out to bid. We'll have to, because if we're going to build, let's say we're going to do $1 million expansion of the RIB, that, once we have a concept, we'll then have to put that out to bid a bit.
So
but I think John's question is, who's going to be your engineer to design what you're going to bid?
Yeah, who's looking at it right now saying, Underwood. This is what's going on, we could...
Underwood.
Linda, did you have a hand up?
Yeah, reason I do is we got a draft capacity study. Right. We never had the engineer in here, and I think some of the questions you're asking is valid. Once we get the full capacity, because we also have I have 10,000 questions I'd want to ask the engineer when they came in when we get the full study.
So we just, a lot of you folks probably saw us, we just jetted this line last week, the beginning of this week, right down through Main Street. We cleaned all the manhole covers. And when you pull the covers and you look down in there, the water just dumps in the manholes. So the I&I on this line alone it's unmeasurable at the moment.
That's sewer.
Sewer.
But that's part of the effluent.
Yeah, yes. I get it. Yeah. But I'm just trying, for the public to know that's sewer. That's
sewer. Correct.
Taking on groundwater.
Yeah.
Which we have to process.
Correct. And that goes to our effluent disposal. So
we're moving that up to the plant. We're turning it around in the plant, burying it, and then we're sending it out, and that's eating into that 92% number.
Correct. So the fastest way for us to get capacity in our effluent system is to buy down the I&I. How do we buy down the I&I? We fix what we already know is broken.
What's the water level out there when you dig down?
Up where, Brian? Up where? Okay. Out there?
So I'll tell you, it depends on the year.
Yep.
When we did the water main, out here, was that last summer?
Summer before.
We really hit close to nothing for groundwater. Okay. And that was down 5 to 6 feet. So a year like right now with the lake as high as it is, my guess is it's probably at 4. Those manholes are running 7 to 9 feet deep, and that's where the water's coming in.
So even when it was at 5, they're still underwater.
They're still underwater.
And remember, we're in a very dry patch. We're dry, right?
Yeah.
Anything else? Linda?
Yeah, and one of the reasons we didn't move forward with that project, which was going to be 2026, is that we did not get any state funding. And
Correct.
We're going to have to decide come next year, if we don't get state funding, whether it's beneficial for us to go out and do it on our penny just because of the other problems with I&I.
Correct.
And the state funding was going to be as a part of the rebuilding of that corridor. And if I understand correctly, each season, our friends at the Department of Transportation rack them and stack them in terms of who gets priority, right?
Yes.
And I may be wrong, but I may be close to right. We kind of got racked and stacked. How far on the list?
So we went from 50-something to 19 to, I think, 30-something. So we actually lost ground last year. Because what happens is there'll be another town. So Manchester got like 200 million. You know, the bigger cities need more, they get more. You know, if things like pictures and videos of those manholes with the water coming in should help us rank a little
And this
higher.
isn't meant to kick the problem, you know, down to the 202 area code, but as those funds get reduced or moved in a different direction, as cost overruns take place in other parts of the state in the New England area, those cost overruns have to be backstopped either by taxpayers or by federal money, which is taxpayers. And that then takes the pool of money that is currently available for us, and it causes us to get racked and stacked down. Not because our project is less meritorious, but there may be, and I'm going to be unfair and I won't mention the actual place, but we have to finish Route 93.
Correct. Well, and those are two different funds because you got highway, but the concept is the same.
Correct.
Something else, you know, where we are at, and this is what I said in that when I presented that study that night, we're kind of at a crossroads of we either need to, okay, we're at 92%, we know we have an I&I problem, we either need to fix this, we need to commit to fixing it, and if we can get relief funding, great.
Good.
Or we don't. Do you know what I mean? We're hoping to get help is great, but at some point we're going to have to fix
John's
it.
before you. John, go ahead.
So last fall, we had the discussion with John. We walked out there and the topic of the sewer came up, and I said, well, maybe we might have to pay for it ourselves. So if we have a choice, we can either pay to fix our leaks or we have to pay to expand our effluent capacity. One or the other.
One way or another, we have to, it's going to cost money.
So best off if we fix the leaks first, and then we would have a true reading on our effluent capacity.
And I'll go back to something that I've been saying for years. We need to fix what we own before we continue to try to build new. So if we can fix what we already have within our footprint and fix the lines that we know have problems, we have videos, we know they're problematic.
So with all the work that's been done out there evaluating, do we have a good baseline to springboard into coming up with some numbers so that we could
So
say,
we have a plan that is 95% done for the sewer.
Everything's 95% done.
About 95% done for the sewer, and I want to say we are at 4.5.
Wait, what's with
Oh,
the hand
4.5
signals?
million.
4.5 million. Linda, you had a question?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. When we were having the issues in 2005 and 2006, we got 2 state grants to do I&I. The first one was about $800,000. The second one was $600,000. So this project would take care of this one area. Do you have other areas that we might apply to the state for an I&I grant?
We do. We know, well, so some of them have already been documented. We know that run that runs from the hospital down. That's a big run, and that has issues. So those are probably the 2 biggest in town that we have.
And are there funds for just I&I?
So therefore, right now we can get for I&I, a lot like lead service, we could get 50,000 to camera. We can do things like that for research, but not
putting the shovel in the ground and digging up a pipe.
Not for construction.
Okay.
Not that I have seen coming out at the moment.
Thank you.
So, did you have another one?
I'll stop.
No, go ahead.
No.
You all done?
Yeah.
So, we have 3 engineering, bless you, we have 3 engineering firms. And I'm not here to give accolades to any one or all 3 of them, but You know, I know a couple of them, and they're in the world of civil engineering and construction. They normally rise to the top of the bottle as they're good people. All right? I think that the concern that people have, Mr. Owings being prescient on this, is you may be doing a lot of good stuff, you know, the collective we. We may be doing a whole bunch of good stuff, but it ain't coming out the door and telling people what's going on. You know, I hate to use the word communication, so I won't.
It's valid.
You know, the dashboard that says, you know, here's what's going into the plant, here's what's coming out of the plant, here's the hot spots in the town, here's what we need to get our head around, and ladies and gentlemen, you can either fix that leaky pipe or you can expand the sewer system. Pick one, because that's really what it is. But there is a third option. Do nothing.
And wait for something bad to happen.
And wait for something really bad to happen. Or you can just go over to that corner office and say, stop developing anything. Don't add nothing.
But even at that point, right? So say you add nothing.
Yeah.
That's going to continue to get worse.
Oh, it's going to continue to. It doesn't get better with time. No, it doesn't fix itself.
So it's only going to get worse. Okay, it's like anything else. I hate to use this, but if you kick that can down the hall, you can do it, but eventually you're going to get to the end of the hall. And you know, some of these things are just, you know,
not to do anything other than to say this board is at the end of this deck of documents. We're going to vote on some priorities for 2026, and we've kind of broke it into, what was the 4 quadrants, Barry? No, we broke it into 4 quadrants. Do now, and this board's going to have to decide whether getting our heads around this issue, this investment requirement, is a do now. But I think we need more hearing from you about where's, you say the hot spots could be along the main trunk line coming right down here?
The worst one in town is this main trunk line.
Okay. And I know you do, maybe you do, I don't want to lead the witness. Any of that stuff going in the water body?
Doubtful, but I can't guarantee it. So when I tell you we pull the covers and you look down and you see the water coming in, a lot of people will say, well, if water comes in, water can get out. No. Well, you got a pressure factor in there. So the outside pressure of that pushing in, path of least resistance says that groundwater has a lot more pressure than a gravity sewer. So is it possible? Anything is possible, I guess. Very, very slim likelihood.
It could happen. I mean,
could happen.
Okay.
But yes, my concern to that would be, if anywhere, it would be where it crosses under the bridge.
Correct.
And if we were to
that's because that would be a place that it could leak.
And you know, our sewer system, no disrespect to the comment, our sewer system is not the most, you know, it's not robust, and meaning it's not networked across the entire town, right? So we know where the pipes and the dimensions of the pipes, we know where this stuff is. Is there anything in your quiver that as we ponder these investments, you could put up on the wall that says, there it is, and there's where the problems are on an I&I basis?
So what I could do is I can print off the sewer maps and we can highlight them.
I'm not asking you to do it now. I'm just saying,
no, I know
that. Be prep.
But yes.
Because that's where this gentleman here is going. He wants to know what the heck's going on.
Absolutely.
Brian?
Yep. So, and we have tested our groundwater, and we have found that there is no, to the best of their ability, the UNH lab looked at some of our groundwater testing and said, to the best of their ability, they saw no septic or human waste in our testing.
Where? When you said they tested our groundwater?
They tested the groundwater
out here.
down at the town docks.
Sure I understand where.
So could you elaborate on that?
So from what has been gleaned to me, and I shared that with everyone, the water tested at the town docks, according to a level 3 scientist at UNH's lab, based on the phosphorus and nitrogen and other compounds in it, it cannot be, he said in his opinion, it cannot be human waste or human septic.
So I'd like to rebuff that, because a lot of the information that I'm reading is it's fresh and it hasn't started to break down yet, which causes those ammonias not to turn into nitrates yet as when it's fresh. So that's
At the risk of trying to just truncate this a little bit, our conversation right now, this conversation is about, we got 3 engineering firms. Is that the right configuration?
Mm-hmm.
You've brought us to a conversation that says you either deal with your I&I issues, you think you got some theories about where the bad stuff is, either coming in or going out. We need to have clarity about that. In this conversation about what's getting into the lake, I started it. I started it. But thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. But it wasn't meant to take us down to the town docks. You're going to tell us about that in a minute.
Yes, and a couple more issues. What I would like to do is just kind of back the train up a little bit.
Yep.
The goal of this whole thing here tonight, it's not a voting thing for you guys. All it is more of a information outreach for you folks, for these people, so that they know how we do things, why we are doing some of these things, that point. And an introduction, a reintroduction of a company that's been here for almost 20 years, and just for them to share their projects they've worked on and the background. That was the goal of this item.
Can I raise my hand? So on a future basis, so you've kind of said, here's what's going on in the past, here's where some stuff that we probably want to deal with. On a future basis, what can we expect in the 2026 capital side? What's the contribution that the Stantec folks and Woodard, what are we going to expect to see from those folks?
So
not like.
No, it's fine. Yeah. So we have, as far as Stantec goes.
Like what's different?
Well, it's business as usual for us. Mm-hmm. So we're just continuing on our plan based off of all of our asset management plans, what we have laid out over the last couple of years. We set our plans ahead way in advance. So those are our work plans, and we're just continuing down that path. So every quarter when I update you on those, this falls into that stuff. I can do a quick one if you would like. Stantec this year, we have River Street, we have Green Street, which is teed up, ready to roll. We have a big culvert out on Haynes Hill that they're working on for us. And then obviously we have Mill Street, which is actively right now. You're not seeing shovels in the ground. We're doing all the stuff, which is all the submittals, all the material, getting all of that squared away, making sure all of our opera funds and all of that function is getting taken care of. That is all the boring stuff that happens before.
Did that gentleman on Haynes Hill get his guardrail?
That's part of that project.
Okay, good.
Correct. But that is a very large project that is turning into, that is why they are here. That is why they're working on it between wetlands, easements. That is their path.
What would happen if we didn't have these engineering firms?
Well, we would probably get in trouble.
We'd save a lot of money.
No, actually, Paul, I would argue.
We'd go to jail.
We'd have to get somebody.
We'd have to get somebody.
We'd have to get somebody. Yep. And honestly, the hiring the one guy, right? Like say we go back to hiring the one guy. The one guy can't do what 3 engineering firms can do. Yeah. Yes, money-wise on the end of the balance sheet, sure. But the amount, if you look at the invoices and you look at the amount of manpower it takes to do these projects, to design these projects, and to oversee them as they're built, there's not just one guy in their office that does it.
Yeah, and I'll back up what Steve's saying. Even when we had Dave Ford was the second set of eyes. Stantec was here when Dave Ford was here. These engineering firms were, because he just had the look from the town, which we get by putting 2 of them together.
Yeah.
Right, and you just can't, one person can't, which is the reason why I'll go back to why municipalities don't design their own work. It's not feasible, number one, and the liability is way too great. If, for instance, one person was capable, I'm not gonna say him because it's not fair. If Joe Schmo, the town engineer for the town of Wolfeboro, had designed the RIBs, for example, and he had messed it up.
Whoa.
Do you see the point?
Yep.
So,
Whoa.
exactly.
Right?
So that
Whoa.
is why you outsource these things, and you let the people that do this every day do their job.
So they put a stamp on their design?
Yes.
They're stamping it?
They're stamped,
Okay.
and then they go to DES. DES reviews everything. DES makes sure that they're happy. If DES is happy, we're all happy.
So and I'm not, this isn't poking at the past because it's easy to do that and I don't like doing it, but the notion of on a go-forward basis or even in a current basis, engineering and design has a stamped plan. Someone's college degree and the backing of their firm is saying this is what you should do. The question then is, does it get installed the way it was designed?
That's a separate question.
You can design it great and install it badly, or you can,
Design it badly.
and install it great, and it still sucks.
which is the theory behind why we don't oversee our own stuff, because it's the fox in the hen house. You have an independent person that follows through on your construction oversight, then they are the ones that are doing that. Because human nature would tell you, well, you know what, we can save, if we do this here, we'll save $1,000, let's say. Well, but this is there for a reason. So if you aren't 100% on it, somebody can do that. And that's an issue.
Yeah, Brian?
So just because time is always of the essence, we've just discussed C. Can we move on to D, E, and G?
As long as the board wants to go there.
Time out. I would really, if we could we pause and let these guys come up and do their part so then they can leave? As much as I love them.
John?
Get them on the road.
So when we did this project out here, so this is the
water main?
The water main. Now, we were getting money from somebody, and we had to go for the lowest bidder. If we pay for it ourselves, we could get the most qualified contractor.
Correct.
Which would probably give us a better product in the long run.
I will go as far as to say, when you use state or federal money, you have to play with their rules, period. So they say lowest responsible bidder means you do lowest responsible bidder. If it's our money, we can sit down and we can have a conversation, and I can say, well, guys, I know this contractor, I know this contractor, I know this contractor. I've been in this industry a very long time. We can bring in a Stantec and they can say, well, I know this contractor, this contractor, this contractor. This one is fantastic. They do everything great, but they're 5% higher. This one might be 10% lower, but they're going to change order you to death. This one is 15% lower, but I wouldn't let them build me a doghouse. Do you know what I mean? So, but we have control over that. When we get the money from Concord or from Washington, they say, no, this is what you're doing.
So that's on the do side.
Correct.
Right? The plan side will always, shouldn't say always, but we will rely on the engineering capabilities. But the do side of the equation is where we are compelled by state and fed regs that says, the lowest bidder. But for us, we could change that. David?
Correct.
Yeah, I think to sum this up, the last sentence in your thing to us, I thought was the most interesting. The town ensures that infrastructure investments are designed, implemented effectively, safely, and in full compliance with applicable standards. That, to me, covers the whole thing that we've been back and forth here. Because what happens is the engineers are the ones who design it safely and in full compliance with standards.
Yep.
And that's how we
Correct.
and whoever the engineers are, get the funds to do this stuff.
Correct.
But the system installation has got to also comply with that, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
so let's
I mean,
go ahead, Dave.
that just, to me, covers the whole thing.
Let's bring up your colleagues and
again, so I'm going to bring up Jerry and Jonathan from Stantec, and they're here just to do a little meet and greet. Hi, this is what we do. This is who we are.
good evening. Just state your name for the record, please.
I'm Jerry Ford from Stantec. I'm a principal engineer with the company. I have Jonathan Bork with me, and he leads our construction services group.
Can everybody out there hear? No, can you come a little closer to the microphone, sir? Thank you.
Here. I'm Jerry Fortin from Stantec. I'm a principal engineer. We're based out of Auburn, New Hampshire. I have Jonathan Bork with me here tonight, and he leads our construction services group. As Steve said, Stantec's been working in Wolfeboro for about 20 years. We worked with Dave Ford before Steve came to town. And we principally provide a wide range of services, but out of our New Hampshire office, it's basically transportation engineering, environmental engineering, and water resources engineering. So we do roads and bridges on the transportation side. We do stormwater. We do water and sewer utility work. That's usually done as part of our roadway reconstruction projects. We do structural engineering as part of that, bridges, retaining walls, things like that. Geotechnical engineering, everything below ground, foundations, things like that. We do the environmental permitting. We have permitting specialists in our office. Environmental engineering, we have a hazardous waste group that works on brownfield sites. And hazardous, as you might, some of the sites in Wolfeboro, we've had to deal with that as part of the utility installations for water and sewer. And we do construction engineering, so we do the follow-up engineering that's required. So some projects, just I'll give you a brief history, and then I'll turn it over to Jonathan to do the more current stuff that we've been involved with. We started in about 2007, working with Dave Ford, and the South Main Street Water Crossover Project was about 2009, where there's a cement concrete slab under 28. We did a lot of crossover work where we directional drilled under the slab to upgrade and connect your water system. The Route 28 corridor study, Linda probably remembers this. It was back in 2010, working with Dave Ford. Your Route 28 corridor was taken off of the 10-year plan by DOT. We actually did an initial corridor study and a traffic study for the town, and we got that back on DOT to get that project funded. As a result, now you have the Route 28 corridor project that DOT's been here making presentations on with us, and that project is now a DOT-funded project, and it will reconstruct 28 from Pickering Corner out to Pleasant Valley Road. So we did the preliminary engineering to get that back on the 10-year plan for the town. We did a project out here, South Main Street sidewalk, in about 2012, where we rebuilt the sidewalk right out on South Main Street here. The Downtown Streets project in 2012, we did with Dave Ford, where we rebuilt a lot of the streets on the top of the hill here and installed sidewalks. And we had Safe Routes to School funding, federal funding program through DOT to help pay for some of the sidewalk work. Center Street was a state aid highway project here from Pickering Corner out to the museum. That was state aid highway money. That was a project we did that lasted about, we started that I think in 2012 and construction ended in 2019. Jonathan overseeing that. So that's kind of the history of projects we've done in town that you might know or have seen. But I'll turn it over to Jonathan to bring you up to 2024 and the water main project we did out here just a few summers ago.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. I'm Jonathan Burke. I primarily take care of the construction engineering aspect of most of our projects. I help out with funding, ARPA grant, CWSRF, drinking water SRF, that kind of stuff. You guys probably saw me in a yellow vest hiking up and down the street for the last couple summers, so that project kept me busy. We also help Steve with the local roads, Stoneham Road, Trask Mountain Road, Green Street, Pine Street, Leaner Street. Leaner Street was with Dave. Pleasant Valley Road, we went out there and helped Steve with some layout out there. We've also secured some funding for asset management, lead service. We were using the GPS tonight that we got the DES to pay for. It's become a great asset for the town. We're finally getting into the current century with all the asset management stuff rather than paperwork and all the other stuff. So it's been really good. We're also working on Haynes Hill Road, that culvert out there. And the other part of this is a lot of the construction stuff that we do for Steve. We help him out with the reimbursement too, as far as Downtown streets, I believe, was an 80-20 split, so the town paid 20 cents on the dollar for that project. That was a couple million. Center Street, I think, was a 2/3, 1/3 split. So we do everything we can to help you guys out with funding because we know these projects they're not cheap. When we originated the Complete Streets project for downtown with Dave Ford, he estimated he could do it all for $3 million. We just did the water for 2.3. Now we have sewer, now we have drainage, now we have sidewalks, utilities, all that other stuff. So we're a lot of that stuff that we've done. We've acquired a congressionally directed spending grant with I think it was Shaheen's office for I think it was 3.7 million. That money's up in the air right now with the current administration, so we're not 100% sure if we'll ever see that. So we still bug them every few months to see where the money is, and unfortunately we're not getting a whole lot of answers from them, but that's pretty much what we take care of. Like I said, Steve and I talk, not on a daily basis, but pretty much when I'm out here, we're talking every day, but all the other stuff in the winter, we're gearing up and getting ready to go for the construction season for this year.
Board members. John?
So how long would it take for you to get rolling on our sewer project?
We are working on it right now. So the plans, like Steve said, are 90-95% done. Then it goes to an environmental review. The environmental review for the water project, where we took a water main and put it back in the exact same trench, took 6 months. So there's no guarantees on how long that takes. DES, just like everybody else, is having a hard time hiring people and keeping people currently. So they're running into the same roadblocks that a lot of people are right now. So we're hoping to submit that for application in the near future.
So how do you look at that? Do you look at it as a priority for environmental?
Yes.
So one of the projects that is a big project is South Main Street. That was originally looked at as a complete streets soup to nuts project. So the water would get addressed, the sewer would get addressed, the stormwater would get addressed, and then you'd come in and do the complete surface restoration, new sidewalks, completely repave the street. Today, that's probably a $20 million project if you do the whole thing. So working with Steve, we've altered the approach. We went and got funding, so you start from the bottom up, right? We got funding, we replaced the water because we had water funding. Now we're pursuing the sewer funding to replace the sewer. We chased that stormwater grant to get you $3.7 million for the stormwater. And then lastly, we had speaking with DOT about maybe getting some additional money to either do this as a separate project or maybe be able to continue with the Route 28 project.
So how else do you make it least impactful to the taxpayers on a project? Do you have tools to stretch it out for a long time, or different funding mechanisms?
Well, the different funding mechanisms are typically on the water and sewer side. You get money from New Hampshire DES because they have programs. They have clean water funds, drinking water funds. So typically for water main replacement, we got drinking water money, SRF drinking water money. For sewer, you'd get clean water SRF. On the DOT side, you get there are different programs for DOT, like state aid highway, state aid bridge, different programs you can get things paid for. Safe routes to school, you get federal money for sidewalks. So you look at all of those funding sources. In this particular case, these days, it's hard to do a complete project for $20 million unless it's a big DOT project that's paying for something. So the approach that we've taken is, it takes longer, but we've got money for the water. We can hopefully get money for the sewer. Aren't sure what's going to happen with this $3.7 million stormwater grant, but we got approval of it. It's only whether that money will come through or whether we have to reapply. So it takes time, but we altered the approach and trying to continue with the project and do it in segments, do it in pieces.
Okay, any last questions? Gentlemen, thank you. We appreciate it. All right. We got about an hour and 15 minutes to go here. We got a lot of work ahead of us. The next item on the agenda, unless Steve, are you done with this first one, outside engineering, water, sewer? You done with that?
I'd say,
I think you said yes. You said yes? Okay. And the next item on our agenda is water restrictions. Public Works wants to talk about water restrictions. It's all yours, Steve.
I gotta find it. Hang on. Well, I'm gonna wing it because apparently I left that in the office.
Can't hear you.
Okay. So we are here tonight to ask to continue with the current water restrictions that we proposed last fall. Currently, the pond is down at minus 24 inches. So we typically don't see that level until September. So we are still quite low. So we want to continue with the same restrictions that we put on last fall.
Board members? Linda?
Yes, am I correct that we use D, prohibit all outdoor water use?
Yep,
That's what you're asking for, because we have the list. We're looking for D. Okay, I'm fine with that.
Do you want me to read the restrictions?
That's up to you guys. If you want to read it into the record.
A would be restricting landscape and lawn watering and irrigation. B would be landscape irrigation shall be prohibited except for irrigation by low volume only of crops for use as food by residents at a primary residence. C is use of automated landscape sprinklers systems is prohibited. D is prohibiting all outdoor water use. E is the filling of swimming pools is prohibited. F is washing or cleaning streets, driveways, sidewalks, or other impervious areas is prohibited. And G is washing cars or boats at a non-commercial facility shall be prohibited. And it said, this action is exclusive of customers of the Town of Wolfeboro Water Department and does not restrict usage of private wells or other means of watering which are outside the municipal water system.
Questions, board members?
So I'm assuming that you will need a motion to, right?
Yep.
To accept the water restrictions on the 4/28/2006 memo from Steve Randall, which is the prohibiting all outdoor water use.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any conversation about this? Does that apply, just for the record so that people said, does that apply to commercial establishments that may wash cars?
No, those are still permitted. We don't want to hurt, at this point, we don't want to hurt businesses.
Pardon there?
They have their own water well.
Yeah, they do. They reuse it. Yeah.
Okay, so, I'm sorry.
I'm agreeing with Dave Sands.
Just want to make sure that people don't get spooked here. Okay, so I have a motion and a second to prohibit, which is a continuation of where we've been, right?
Correct.
Just simply to continue with prohibiting all outdoor water use. Board members?
Just one question.
John?
So you've implemented this water supply shortage restriction. What happens when somebody comes to us and says they want to drill their own well to use water?
So that's a planning question, more for planning and ZBA. They would have to go and get a variance. That's how it's been right now. If they live in a zone that has town water, for example, that we can't provide. I use Hemlock a lot. Hemlock Drive is a perfect example.
Yeah.
We have town water runs right in front of those lots.
No pressure.
There was no pressure there. So I wrote a letter that said you can have a well. They went to ZBA. They got a variance so they can put the wells in. I would think that would probably be how that would work. This is I'm going to say this is a temporary thing. You know, all the other lakes around are high, right? I mean, if you've been down to Dockside, you know, Winnie's high. Even Wentworth is coming up well. So there just isn't the runoff into that lake as there is as much of the others, or into Beach Pond there is. So we are expecting that to come up.
But the unanswered question prospectively is there water that's leaving the pond that's not getting through a meter?
Well, that's the other part. Of course, there's unaccounted for water, which we work on. We fix leaks constantly. So that goes, we could take this conversation in the same way that we just took the sewer.
And I don't want to, but
Right.
You know, your comment about the pond filling up, it could be that the pond's filling up, but it's going into a ditch. So you can dimensionalize that at some point for us. You know
Correct.
where that is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. John, anything else you had?
It's evaporating too, Paul.
It's evaporating. We're drinking it, yeah.
No, it's evaporating.
It's evaporating.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Evaporating, oh, yeah. What happens if it gets worse, and when will we know?
Can we call the question?
No, hang on.
So if it gets worse, obviously we will continue, to monitor. We can continue to update the board as we go. As the season goes on, if we don't get any relief, will it get worse?
And you'll keep us posted.
We'll keep you posted, and we'll address it from there. We have some contingencies in place to make sure we don't, quote, run out of water. They're not great, so we don't really want to have to do that if we don't have to.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to do this. So all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Thanks for the input, Steve. You have Public Works updates is next item on the agenda.
Okay. So I just wanted to take a few minutes while I was here and just kind of give a quick overview of what we've been doing and where we're headed as of late. Anybody that came in here tonight, we'll start with the easy ones. I'm hoping you saw the yellow signs that the parking lot is closed on Friday and Saturday of this week. Friday will be prepping to pave this back parking lot and the section of Union Street. Right now, tentatively speaking, assuming it doesn't rain, we will be paving the back parking lot in Union Street. That paving crew is going to be moving up to the...
Captain Livy, would you remove those three women on the front of the room?
That paving crew will then be moving up to the North Main sidewalks and be rebuilding those. It's the same crew that we did on the South Main sidewalks last year. So they'll be going from Mill Street to the end up on the hill. Okay. So those will be redone. That is our next week to 2 weeks. While they're in town, they are then going to come after the sidewalks. They're going to move to the municipal parking lot down by the flower shop and redo that one. And then we have a couple other smaller items while that small crew is in town. Our road paving is still TBD at the moment. If anybody's been across Beach Pond the last week, we did reclaim that. So that is getting ready. We have some culverts to replace and some gravel to add to that before that paving comes in. So I'm hoping we're working on that schedule for the additional road paving. So that takes care of that section. Day to day, currently, we have 2 machines out sweeping every day. They're pretty much on the side roads. If anybody lives in any of the side roads, you'll see them, or you'll see them coming through town. We have them running in a tandem system right now. So they both go down one lane of the road, they turn around, they come back. We have 2 trucks that alternate back and forth to haul the debris off. So we're doing that every day. We are also grading every day. The grader's out running every day. I think he is about halfway through the dirt roads. They take us anywhere, depends on the rain and stuff, about 5 weeks to do all the dirts in town, to grade, once frost comes out of the ground. So those are out being done. Then we have our regular maintenance crew out working, starting to do culverts and ditches. If anybody's been on Sewell Road, you'll see that they've started down there. Unfortunately, or let's start with the fortunate side. For the first time in my career of being here, Public Works is fully staffed for 1 month. And one of my, I hate to see him go, but I understand why he's leaving. We are losing a guy, so we have to do some reshuffling, and we'll be hiring again. But such is life. So short of that, then we have regular spring cleanup. Go ahead, John.
So the sanding, do you have a list and location that you can post to people?
Sure. I could. Yep. I can put it on the Facebook page if that. Yeah.
Well, what about? I mean, I'm not on Facebook,
okay.
So it's like
that seems to be that. We can put it on the website. Yeah, I can do that.
I know a lot of people have been asking me about it.
Great. Yeah. So just so we're here now. What we did is we started downtown, and now we're basically doing a loop out. And right this minute, we're headed that way. So they did Clark and Greenleaf, and then they're down to Abenaki Estates. Things like that. They're working that way. Then they'll come back, and then they'll head that way. Then they'll come back, and they'll head that way.
So they're on one side of the road, then they're on the other side of the road on the way back?
Yeah, so they're going down, right, and then they'll come back and they'll swing into Pleasant Valley Road, Brewster Heights, right, for example. Then they'll come back, they'll keep working their way, then they'll go that way and they'll hit, you know, they've already been down through Sewell Road once. They'll hit that again probably with the construction, but, you know, Highland Terrace, and then down that line. Once
Gonna
you get
hit
out to-
Treadwell Lane?
Yes, once we get out to that, Old Lakeview, yeah, Dudley.
He's trying to jump the line at Bailey's Bubble, and he's got the, okay, good.
No,
I
so-
assume common sense says you do the roads that are most traveled first.
Correct. So we
and
do
then
the-
work your way out to the ones that are the least
roads that are
traveled.
most trafficked first. Then we also do the roads that are the worst first. So take grading, for example. We ride the roads and we figure out which one is the worst one and has the most traffic and is the worst. That's where we go first. Okay, and then ideally we don't do, well, let's see, we don't go from here way to that side of town. So we pick the worst cluster and okay, we're gonna go here, we'll do this. Same thing with sweeping. Then you get to a point with sweeping, it's, okay, we're not gonna start jumping around either. We're down here, we're down on the south side of town, let's just bang out the roads on the south side of town. Then we'll come back through and then we'll go to the next section. There's 64 miles of road. And, you know, with basically...
You can get it done in 2 days, right?
Sure, Brian.
The headline, though, I think that keeps coming, at least for me, it keeps coming back to me is a lot of people sitting out there watching TV and they're going, this is new information. I need to know. John's asking, where can I go find?
Yep.
Gentleman's asking, where can I go find? And absent that information, it leaves people with a, you know, an impression that says, well, maybe there's nothing to find. So we just got to figure out a way to improve that. Okay?
100%.
What else you got?
So, other public works side, obviously, we're continuing our planning and moving forward for future. But that pretty well sums up our day-to-day stuff at the moment. And that's I pretty much left that with the highway department, water and sewer. You've seen them, they've been out jetting. They've cleaned all of our pump stations, jetted the main runs, sewer runs. That catch basin truck will come back around next week. The highway guys will start doing those catch basin cleanups. Again, same thing, we start downtown, then we go out from there.
To me, this is all the do side of what's going on. The plan side is what your colleagues do.
Correct.
We need to just get a better balance as to how we communicate that. Okay. Anything else on this topic?
No,
Linda.
Paul, that's fine, we can stop. I can go for a while, but we can stop.
I know you could. Linda.
Yeah, it says public safety drainage.
Oh,
We have
yes.
seen that, and I think that would be a nice one to fill everybody in on.
The public safety drainage, so most people know that we put that Vortec tank in a couple days before Christmas. Found some stuff I didn't really care for, so we went back in and finished it last week. You'll see it's reloamed, regraded. The tank is planted in the ground as far as it can go. It be based on how the piping in and out goes. It is what it is. I don't think it's not too bad of a. I was kind of hoping it didn't have quite as hump in it, but it's not bad. And it was hydroseeded today. So our struggle is going to be to figure out how to water said hydroseed when we just imposed a water restriction. But we will abide by the same restrictions.
You're not going to be out there sprinkling the lawn?
We are. We'll find a way. We'll find a way.
We'll bring the fire.
Grab
I've
Zombie,
already
have him
talked
squirt
about
the hose from the truck.
I just told him to open the door and run the
Get
ladder
engine
right
one
straight
over
out. And just,
Okay, what else you got on this one, Steve?
I think that's probably, unless anybody has any questions.
You got F, public F?
No, it's on.
No, he's under
This
E.
is under his, he's in.
This is just one.
Oh, he's under
He's in
E.
E right now. We got to go to the next one.
What's
Next
plan
one?
F, John?
G,
Oh, no, where are we on F?
drain pipe.
F.
We're on G. No, you have
yes.
drain pipe.
F.
Drain pipe.
Drain pipe.
So we hydro-exed it yesterday.
You what?
For folks that don't know what hydro-excavation is, we had the catch basin truck here. We went and sucked that dirt so we didn't have to dig it up. And we cleaned all the dirt around an area about this big so we could get down to where that pipe actually was. We cut a section of the pipe out. We cambered down to the lake. We cambered back up to the building. Everything has been disconnected that was ever connected to it. The roof drains run now, and they have a grid thing or something that's underneath that deck of that Market 21. So those roof drains run underneath that and dump into the stone. You can see the pipes there. that 4-inch pipe that you could see that dumped out into the lake went up and reduced down to a 2. My guess is that's where, when they broke it, when they were putting that in, they reduced it down to a 2 for another piece with a fern co, up to another fern co, went up around the building, in, and turned into the building. In that building, those, the plumbers, the owners, representative of the, when they swapped all that over a couple months back for us, they capped the inside off. We have now, since where we dug that up, we took a piece of pipe out, we capped the uphill side and the downhill side. So that is a dead, abandoned, nothing else is flowing through it line. I know there was talk about digging that up and removing it. I would prefer not to. If that is fine with everybody, it's capped on both ends. I just assume leave it. I don't want to do the permitting and the ripping up a parking lot for nothing. So that, going forward, I'm going to get with our health inspector, and we might do just some random groundwater tests in and around that area, and if we need to get in, to just kind of monitor that as we go. Because big picture wise, we talked about this a couple months ago now. This has triggered some stuff. So we are now we have to inspect every outlet that falls into the lake that comes out of our system. So we have not done that at the moment because we're pretty well buried, but probably in the next few weeks, we'll start to sample those as well. And we will sample the plan right now is to sample all the outflows. If something triggers, then we'll start to go further back up the line. So that is our working plan right now.
Board members, questions?
So the night when you were acting as town manager and said it's all over from now on forward.
I'm sorry?
You made the comment, it's all over from now on forward, meaning we can't do what we did anymore, okay? So did you get a legal letter that described any implementation?
They just gave us the RSA, and I believe I'd forwarded it all to you guys in one of those weekly updates I was doing. I can't quote it to you right now because I can't. But it is in there, and what that says is you can't discharge anything that would contaminate blah, blah, blah into the lake. So it doesn't necessarily say we can't pump a sump pump into a drain line that goes into the lake. As long as it's not contaminated, then we're okay. So the conversations I have had, which is, okay, let's start all the outflows, we'll sample the outflows, and then we'll start to work back from there.
But you would still need a permit to...
Only if. So we're not going to go to a discharge permit to dump a contaminated source into the lake. We're not going down that path. That is the paperwork, and we're just not going to do that. So if something were to, so let's say something triggers, just for conversation's sake. Say we figure out that Joe's house somehow ties still into a drain line, which then goes into the river, which goes into this. Well, then Joe's house was going to have to get replumbed to make sure that that doesn't do that. And we can do that by dye tabs, and we can chase it, just like we did down there, like we do most any place with a sewer. So it's just a matter of starting. So we'll start, like I said, we'll start at the outfalls, and if anything hits, then we'll work our way back up to figure out, because on any given line, there could be who knows how many pipes run into it. So we have to start somewhere.
Yeah, the drain pipe that comes off my roof at my house is probably just clear, clean water. But a drain pipe that comes off a commercial building where there could be rodents, birds, other things like that can come off and can be very contaminated.
Sure, but your house is a non-issue. It's only something that runs directly into the lake.
Correct.
And more importantly, it's only something that runs into a drain line that runs into the lake. Mm-hmm. If your roof drains had all those things on them and they were running onto the ground, and then that groundwater matriculated across and went into the lake,
doesn't matter.
That's life. That's what they say that is what it is. It's the fact that you pipe it is the problem. So we have to make sure that there's nothing piped. And if we just investigate that, and I will present it, and yay, nay, whatever it might be, and if there's an issue, we'll correct it. If there's not, then we're moving on.
When I was a kid, the Burger King down in Paugus Bay had one of the biggest contamination problems, and it was because everybody fed the ducks French fries.
And it was Burger King.
Well, that's what you get for eating at Burger King.
Correct.
I did have one, and I'm glad that you mentioned that you're going to continue this. When we had this conversation a whole bunch of times ago, there was an observation made by people that water was coming out of that pipe under pressure, meaning it was something was driving that water out of the pipe. All right, and so that's been allegedly sorted.
Well, not allegedly. That has been taken care of.
It's been sorted.
Right.
But that pipe, that water that was being pushed out of the pipe was coming from a sump.
Correct.
And so we need to understand if there's a groundwater issue in that, and I think that's where you guys are going next, right?
Correct.
Because I hate to do this, but we just had a conversation about this little thing going down the street which might be leaking in and out, and I don't know whether it's leaking in and out. You said it might not be, it only might be leaking in. We might have a groundwater issue, and I just want to make sure we understand whether there's a contributory issue that we have to deal with. So you'll do that, you'll let us
Correct.
know what you're doing?
Yes, absolutely. And I would like to point out that we had tested that run many times after this had all started, and we got continually 0 numbers. You guys have all those test results because they were forwarded to me. So I would like to just make sure that everybody's aware of that.
I just want to check off without, I want to check off the boxes.
No.
The logical boxes, get them checked off.
No, the original concern of the under pressure, that is accurate. There was a sump pump that was in the back that fed in through that, and that was disconnected.
Okay, so I have
Linda had her hand up, Brian. Okay. Hang on. Go ahead, Linda.
So that pipe that's going out to lake is cut. It
It's
cannot
cut.
be. So what Paul is referring to, he thinks that we may have leakage into the soil.
Correct. That's what he's attested. Correct.
Correct.
And we can check that. We can verify that. Health inspector can verify that. We can go into buildings and we can do sampling and we can test groundwater because the majority of those buildings downtown have sump pumps. Sump pumps create holes in the ground. There's groundwater.
They're picking up groundwater and moving it.
I just want to make sure everybody still understands that it's not coming from that pipe. We're now talking about the soil.
So again, I'm going to circle back around to this. The action plan, the do now, is to sample the outfalls of those known pipes and see if anything triggers. And then gives us a blueprint of where to start, if we even need to start. If everything comes back negative, there's nothing hitting the lake, then we're done.
Groundwater.
Well,
Brian.
So and this is what I was talking about earlier, from Jody Potter, the lab manager, Analytical Instrumentation Scientist 3, the University of New Hampshire Water Quality Analysis Lab.
Using real-time information?
No. This is something that you already received, all of you. The Department of Natural Resources and Environment. He said, we really need to employ microbial source tracking, MST to be sure. Using MST, you would be able to discern human from animal and is potentially what species of animal sources. That said, it is my opinion that it's a stormwater issue because there are not high enough levels of nitrogen, nitrate, nitrites, and ammonia. If it was human effluent, either septic or sewer, we would expect very high nitrogen. The low nitrogen might mean that it comes from a recent localized contamination from animal or wildlife waste. I think you said that there can be a lot of birds at the town docks, and I have pictures of boats covered in geese.
We appreciate that.
I don't think it would be, I don't think that you would get high fecal coliforms there. It would need to be it would be a failing sewer line or septic line, and again, we're not seeing high nitrogen levels. It's unlikely, again, that is the source.
Steve,
So
you and the health officer will do a little more research?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We don't want to run out of time here. We got a couple of important ones to do. Item F, Department of Public Works rules and regs.
You guys have a couple pages of stuff that I have written up.
It was 128 pages?
128 pages.
Great read.
So what I would love to happen is 5 of you to just say, you know what, Steve, it's good, have at it.
No.
I know that's not going to
that ain't
happen.
happening.
So
No,
what
that's
my
not.
goal of this is the first draft given to you.
Yep.
It is not the first draft that we have done. So I would like to give you a little bit of background on where this came from, why we're here, and what I would like to see going forward.
Can you make this a little more detailed?
Brian?
Brian, stop it.
Okay.
Captain
So-
Livy.
Taser, please, that'd be great. So, as you guys know, almost a year ago, I started the CPM project program, and we had to have a capstone project. So, internally, we came up with, you know what, our regulations are really old, and most of them are non-existent, so why don't we do that? So, that is what I started with. I started with the highway ones, and that has morphed into water, sewer, and a brand new cross-connection one that we have never had. So that's where this came from.
Do we have to put that back in the rules of procedure, cross connections? I'm sorry, go ahead, Steve.
He's just being silly.
Go ahead.
So that is where this came from. This is where this started. So what we did, and I say we because this has turned into a full effort. If you have read the pages, you'll know there's a lot of information in here, and a lot. We used what we had here in the past. We used what we could steal from DOT, from surrounding towns. Resources like UNH was very good in the T2 program for us. And just to try to bring us, I mean, the water runs were done in 1981. You know, there really wasn't one for roads to speak of. So to just kind of bring us up to date and to make us current, that is what we tried to do with this. And the other thing that I really wanted to do was make it easy to read, as easy as something like this is to read, but also to make it uniform. So when you go from regulation to regulation, the format is the same. You know, it's broken down. It's very simple. The water and sewer, for example, once we get everything nailed down and we're good with it, every year in December or January when I come to you and I want to do a rate update, it is one page. I say, this is the page I need to do. These have our rates on it. That page comes out of and goes right back in. And the rest of it all just stays the same. That's the plan. That's the goal, right? We want to know that if somebody wants to know what they can do with their road or what it is, so we go on the website and we took our road layout program, you know, that you guys have approved, and we put that in here. It's right in there, step by step, what you need to do if you want to take a private road and you want to make it a town road. It's right there. If you want to, anything along those lines, that is what this is so that it's trying to be usable and somewhat user-friendly, and at the end of each section, there's every form that you need. You have to, if you want to dig into town road, you need an excavation permit. It's right there. If you want to connect, if you want to work on any utilities, water and sewer, you need a utility license. It's right there. All of that stuff is all right there under a forms tab. You can just look at it and it's right there. So this is all meant to take everything that has been scattered, put it all in one place and make it easier. You know, how we plow snow, right? How does that protocol work? Well, you know, when do we get called out? Who calls us out? All that stuff is laid out in there. What our responsibilities are. I know somebody, I believe Linda asked for a copy of the older ones. I sent them to you guys for you guys to compare. It's hard to compare those because they're really different things. But we didn't really change a whole lot either. There's not a lot of difference. It's more formatting and current verbiage. How it was laid out, he's not here anymore, so we might want to change it a little bit different. You know, I believe Paul had some comments and we had numbers from older times in there because we were trying to not change too much at once. I think at this point, if we're going to change it, I'm good with just changing it. But there's a lot of information in here. There's 4 different ones. What I'm going to suggest is we just do one. We pick one for one meeting and we go through it, and then we do another one at another meeting, and another one at another meeting. Because I expect questions. I can tell you this has all been vetted by Nathan. He's gone through it all. He gave us the notes. We changed verbiage as needed. We made sure that everything we proposed in here was legal. So now it's just a matter of, do you like the way that it's worded? Do you understand how it's worded and why we've done what we've done? Some of the biggest changes in here that I can tell you is probably the biggest one is the maintenance of the sidewalks.
Of the what?
Sidewalks in the wintertime.
Okay.
And we don't have a standard for that, but how my verbiage in here is written is the sidewalks are not priority 1. The sidewalks are priority 2. Roads are priority 1, sidewalks become 2, which means we might not get to them till after the storm. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, you've seen me here in front of you talking about our sidewalk machines for 3 years now. They're problematic. They're extremely expensive. And the other part of that is the majority of our sidewalks are on state roads. We spend all this time cleaning them and getting them perfect. And DOT comes by and fills them right back in again. Every single time. Because we're out here trying to keep them going. Now, we know this is going to happen. But if we can say, look, we're going to do our best to keep these sidewalks open. Everybody knows this, but it might be the next day before they're fully open. At least then it becomes everybody knows, back to the communication point, everybody knows where we're coming from. Because that's really what happens now, except for we spend all night long. We have 7 miles of sidewalk that take 6 hours to do a pass. That's a lot in a snowstorm to try to keep them open. And then they just get filled right back in again. So that is probably one of the biggest differences in here, and I spelled that out.
Board members, reaction, comments, questions? John?
Well, I had a lot of comments, but the one that bothered me the most, I think, was erasing all the old properties that were where the responsibilities lied, because if there was, the town went and installed sewer lines, water lines, the town wasn't responsible for those anymore. That was up to the homeowner. So that was.
But that's always been, so the water's always been to the shutoff. We own to the shutoff, from the shutoff into the house has always been the homeowner. The trunk line, we own the sewer trunk line, but from the trunk line in is the homeowner. Now, I think what you're talking about is what we used to do. What we used to do and what we were supposed to do is not the same thing. Same thing with a driveway culvert is a perfect example. We used to replace driveway culverts. Well, we're not supposed to replace driveway culverts. That's actually against RSA. So, the best way for me to explain to you on a driveway culvert is this. I'm going to use you as an example. You come to me and you ask for a driveway permit to access your property from our road. So you put a driveway culvert in our ditch line where our water runs. Runs fine right now. You put a driveway in, you put the culvert in. You are asking for the access. It's not our water running through your culvert. It's your culvert is in the way of our ditch line. Do you see the difference?
I do, but I'll give you my example.
Sure.
My example is Freddie Osgood came in our road and replaced 170 feet of cement line ductile down our road. That was the town that did that.
They shouldn't have.
But that was what they did back then.
Correct.
So I think what Steve is saying is,
no longer.
We have some felonies, some things we probably are not as proud of we did. Brian's next.
For you to say that wasn't proper, well, it was proper because they wouldn't have probably done it then.
Well, that's not true, John. I mean, and this is where I would beg to differ. We have all used to do things that we weren't supposed to do. I used to burn tires when I was a kid. We don't, you can't do that stuff anymore. Okay. That's just, there's the evolution of things, and there is the law.
So I think what's going to happen in this document, to John's point, is we're going to have a healthy discussion about demarcation.
Yes.
Mr. Deshays.
Just a quick question. Mine's quick. Authors of this document, You and?
So the main authors of this would be, depending on which section, but myself, Josh Thomas, and Elena Gibo. She helped a ton with research, and she's a little bit faster typer than I am.
Okay.
But then, I mean, let's see, I took verbiage from Alton. We took verbiage from DOT. We took verbiage from, you know, the cross-connection one, for example, is a DES template.
Yeah, right. Why reinvent the wheel when DES has already done it?
Well, one of the biggest things for Public Works is we steal. We all do it. You know, guys will call me, say, hey, what do you guys do up there? And we do this. You know, the excavation permits, the utility permits and things like that you guys approved a couple years ago, I got the templates, one from Rochester, one from Dover. You know, that's how we share. I mean, there's municipal associations, but there's also public works associations. We all talk. You know, all of it, especially around the lake and the surrounding towns. You know, what do you do that works really well? You know, what do you do that works really well? You know,
So
what do I do?
Lots of resources, lots of footnotes, lots of help.
Correct.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Linda?
Yeah, I would like to go through them. I mean, I have questions marked around them. And let me tell you, it was a long read with a lot of stuff.
I know. Trust me, I understand. I've read it a handful of times or more.
But you just made the comment about the water line. But we just replaced water lines all the way into the house because they were lead. So there are times and grants that we don't.
So correct.
So I mean, those are the things I'm going to kind of look for in here when do it. I would like to take a section, take it, work on it, complete it.
Me too.
Put it aside.
Work session.
Then start with the next one.
I would like to do, whichever one we start with, I'm going to suggest we start with the cross-connection one. For number one, that should be the easiest, and it's probably the most important that I would like to get up and running and squared away.
Okay. So we're going to close this unless you have something else that you think, okay.
Actually, I do. I have one more thing. If you guys would happen to have any questions, please email them to me, and I could maybe do something ahead of time. Or we can wait for the work session. It doesn't matter to me. I'm pretty easy.
If it's something major, I will, but...
My personal belief is, you know, as I went through this, I saw, you know, we updated prices in 1997. 1985. So the mean-spirited person would say, what in the heck were you doing? You weren't setting fees. The other side of me says, we just didn't do it. Now what? And I think what you've done here is a great way to do it. Now we can take 128 pages of data and operate on it. We can ask it questions. So we'll have a work session. We'll have a work session, please. We'll have a work session. And we'll let the board, you wanted to do the cross connections, is that what you wanted to?
That would be my suggestion. I would prefer to do that one first.
Okay.
It also should be honestly, it should be the easiest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Stephen, thank you. We have another item, discussion on the 26 warrant articles, Article 22 and 26 relative to crosswalks. Before we begin this, I just want to share with the public, and it's in your package if you'd like to look at it. What I did is I asked every board member to please contribute any contemporaneous information they have to support their arguments, whatever their arguments would be about parking and crosswalks. The reason we did that is we've all agreed that we don't want to have real-time research coming in late breaking news. What's in your packet, what's in our packet is a copy of the warrant articles and the vote on those warrant articles, the wording of the warrant articles. I asked the lawyer to give us his advice of counsel and allow us to release that advice of counsel. That is in your packet. What's also in the packet is some information that was brought to us by the Chamber of Commerce a few weeks ago, discussing their feelings about the warrant article. What's also in the packet is some advice from Stantec, our engineering, our consulting firm. And Mr. Duchesne kindly presented and prepared for us information in our packet that is New Hampshire revised statutes and also some information about crosswalks and markings and things of that nature. Additionally, and not for discussion tonight, but maybe for later, I dug up something that we did back in 2009, which was a pretty comprehensive study of the entire downtown area, and that is in the packet for maybe some future discussion and research. What's not in the packet was a 2009 study that was done, actually it's probably earlier than that, concerning the layout of the town docks. Okay? So with that, the question I think before us is we have 2 warrant articles and we have an existing condition. Board members, let's do this. We need to be pencils down on this probably by 8:45. So that's about 20 minutes. Let's try to keep ourselves inside of the 20 minutes for conversation. And the only thing I ask, please, is debate why you think your perspective is the most important thing to consider, as opposed to why someone else's perspective is not. I want to force the conversation, if you wouldn't mind, in that direction. So with that, I'll just try to manage this situation. Mr. Thurston.
So why are we debating? We've gone over this so many times. I'd like to make a motion.
You may make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to maintain the existing safety setbacks for the crosswalks and to direct Steve Randall to mark them as they are currently.
We have a motion to maintain the existing safety setbacks. Read it again, John.
To maintain the existing safety setbacks for the crosswalks and to direct Steve Randall to mark them as they currently exist.
Everybody understand the motion? Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Okay, it's time to discuss it. Hands up. Anybody? Linda.
Yeah, I have it. I will not support that warrant article. I felt that the Board of Selectmen did not do its due diligence when this came up. It was not an item that was on our agenda. It was an appointment. There was no notice to the public and the voters that the board was going to take that kind of an action. We had no information on the pros and cons, and I believe that the 2026 warrant article 26 had more in favor. As we have seen, it is jaywalking, which is our largest safety problem. We had 2 pedestrians hit this year. And I believe that the voters spoke. The more people wanted to have only one parking space, and that's where I'm going to stand.
Okay, Mr. Duchesne?
So if I'm correct, we were supposed to have 2 public hearings on this, and we haven't had any. We had one that was tabled, and this is a discussion. It's not even a public hearing. So I have a procedural problem with what we're doing and another knee-jerk motion that's being made. So that's my take. And I agree with Linda that 11% more of our citizens and voters said to return back the after parking spot on the travel lane for all the crosswalks in downtown. Now, that might not seem like a lot to some people, but the warrant article that said to leave them as they were passed only by 7%. The one that said to put them back the way they should be passed by 18%. That's significant. And the people that elect us are the people that we should listen to. All the people that elect us are the people we should listen to. So that's my take on it. So I'm in agreement with Linda. And you can read the statutes. The mid-block crosswalks aren't even allowed by state RSA. They're not controlled by state RSA. They're there because the state allowed us to put them there years ago so that people would not walk across the street in Hazard's Way everywhere. The state of New Hampshire also doesn't have a jaywalking regulation, definition, or ordinance. The ordinance says that when you're waiting at a crosswalk, you need to wait for an opening in the traffic. Then you can proceed out. The cars in your travel in the lane that you're walking across have to stop for you. That's their job. The cars going the other direction in front of you do not have to stop until you get to the center line. Then that's when they have to stop and you go across. This is the truth, whether we like it or not. That's the state RSA. We want to change the state RSA, we can change the state RSA. So that's why the state has allowed us to have mid-block crosswalks that have had parking on both sides of them, and we have not, in the last 50 years, had anybody hurt walking across the crosswalks in downtown, in the downtown area. There was a fatality 55 years ago or 52 years ago, very unfortunate, with someone who went across a crosswalk that had open parking spots on both sides of it and was walking across the street, and they were hit by a driver who wasn't paying attention. If you add up the number of cars that have driven through our downtown in the last 50 years, it's uncountable. So I'm with safety, and I think having a spot before gives you a good visual. The spot after, we could maybe do other things with some of them too. We could have a handicap spot. We could have a spot for bicycles. We can do something else with some of those after spots also. Create more for the public and still have safety at the same time. There's more than one way to cook an egg.
Mr. Senecal.
I think in your packet you have some information from Nathan, our attorney. And I'll just read a couple of pieces of it. I think the case and statute turn upon whether or not the town is on notice of insufficiency. This is in reference to crosswalks. And he also makes a statement, I think the town can limit its exposure if it works with a professional or the state to determine if the options proposed are consistent with good practice before making any change to the current configuration. He also goes on, there's a thing from Jim here in reference to this, to Nathan. First, Steve needs to reach out to Stantec and New Hampshire DOT, Stantec being one of our engineering companies, which I don't know if we've done that or not. In another letter from Nathan to Jim, my recommendation would be that the select board needs to make a decision as to what is in the town's best interest given the conflicting views expressed by the legislative body. I seconded John's motion only to get it on the board so we could read in some of this stuff. So it looks to me like, from what I read it, I don't know if we have contacted professional engineers at this time to make recommendations to us. I don't know if Steve has contacted them or if Nathan followed up with Barry yet or not in reference to this. So my feeling is I'm not going to vote actually in favor of anything until we get that information first. So that's my take on it.
Well, John? I think Barry has
Mr.
the letter
Thurston? Yep.
from Stantec, from Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan did respond. I believe it's in your package.
It is.
Yep. From Stantec. So that part of it was completed.
And if I'm correct, his response was that we need to do a complete study of the downtown corridor, then that would be presented to DOT. DOT would give their recommendations. We could look at the plans and then talk to DOT, and DOT would listen to us on what we think we need based on what they think is their practice. It would work about the same way that the Rotaries worked, that they would come to us with options and that we would, as a town, choose what we thought was the options that we wanted.
I have a copy of the Stantec letter. It's in everybody's packet. And I'll just do the summary, if that's okay with everybody. It says it's noted that both petition 22 and 26 were passed by the voters. However, the statements directly contradict each other. Petition 22 indicates permanent retention of a 20-foot setback on both sides of the existing pedestrian crossings to the nearest parking space, and for this directed to be formally adopted by town ordinance. Petition 26 proposes restoring parking spaces on Main Street in direction of travel located immediately beyond existing pedestrian crossings. Based upon available guidance, that is recommended that the town adopt petition 22 rather than 26. That's Stantec's advice. All right. Linda.
Yeah, I guess my issue is that, you know, if we're worried about risks, we have risks all the time. Sometimes you take some risks, and based on the history, only one parking space we have enhanced the visibility on the crosswalk. Also, this went from Pickering Corner to the Smith River Bridge. We didn't take parking spaces out all through that district. So, you know, and if we're so concerned about downtown, just take a look at some of our other parking spaces. And so my feeling is that the one we have greatly improved. Probably what we need to worry about more than anything else is how we can get pedestrians into the sidewalks and crosswalks and use them because of the jaywalking, and that's the most dangerous. So I think in life you take some risks, and I think this risk at any point we can get sued. I think that our lack of getting public input on this is, if we had gotten public input and had gone through the right process, I might be voting some other way, but there were a lot of people who had no say, no idea it was coming. It's there, and now because it's there, we're kind of being trained to be forced to keep it, and so I don't support that.
I have a question that's just, because I don't know the answer. What's the difference in quantity between the current configuration and the proposed configuration, which is Article 26? How many parking spaces are we talking about?
I think we get
6?
That's what I was thinking of.
I think it was 6. Is it 6?
It's around 6.
No, it's not 6.
How many we would get back?
Yeah.
So
if we just went back to if we went back to the petition Article 26, is that what it is?
Yep.
Versus what is now, would we be removing 6 parking spaces? How many parking spaces?
How many would be going back if we followed
6.
26?
Yes.
Yes.
6.
No.
2.
Because we removed them at Lydia's, we took 4 away. We took 4 away at...
No, but 2 of them are going to stay.
2 of them
He's saying
will stay.
2 there, 2 there.
Yeah, and there's 6 crosswalks, so it's 12 or 14.
Some of them we can't put back because there's a hydrant.
Yeah.
And I may be wrong, and so I'm not trying to stack the deck here.
It's at least 10 or 12. I've counted 12.
I count 6, I think.
That would only be 3 crosswalks.
We're getting
into minutia
7.
here. 7.
Yeah, 6.
6. 6?
Yeah.
Highway guy says 6.
That's what I thought
All
it
right.
was.
So the distance between the current configuration and Article 26 is 6 parking spaces. What's not discussed in this at all, and we're not going to discuss it tonight because I think we should at some point. There isn't a handicap parking space north of the bridge. We took one away. When did we take it away? A couple of years ago.
Well, the problem with it didn't meet the ADA regulations because you have a curb, and the curb was causing the problem.
It was out in front of Madeline's coffee shop. They stuck a handicap parking space up there, but you couldn't get out of your car and ambulate into the building.
Because there was a curb.
Because it was a curb stone. All right? So we satisfied, I'm not being mean-spirited here, we satisfied the rule of the law by saying, yeah, there's a handicap spot, but you couldn't use it. So that's not addressed here.
Paul.
I'll be right with you, John. So that's not addressed. What's not addressed here is, and I know I'm leading us into a different direction. What's not addressed here is signage. I sat on the planning board for 4 years, and we spent 4 years trying to figure out wayfinding signs in this town, and we've had a member of a business leader in the town, complaining to us that people are parking in her parking lot when they should be told to park across the street because it's signage. That doesn't get addressed in this stuff here. Anyway, John.
So the spots marked off do comply with the ADA. No. There's a spot. There was a spot right in front of Madeline's, North Main Cafe. I call her Madeline. Right in front of the North Main Cafe.
Durgan Stables.
There was a, was it Durgan? Yeah, okay, so it's right, it was a sign stuck on the phone pole that said, handicap parking, but you couldn't use it. I mean, you could, but if you needed to ambulate out of your car, you had to hop over a curbstone, and that's not the way it's supposed to work.
But what I'm saying is the 20-foot setback meets the ADA requirement.
Oh, you're saying that these 20-footers on either side meets ADA requirements?
Yes.
And where's the source of that information?
I handed that out in the first packet of the year.
Okay, as long as it's on the record someplace. Okay.
I'll read it if you want me to.
It's on the record someplace. So your argument is that these 20-foot setbacks on both sides meet ADA requirements?
Right here, ADA site and distance.
Okay.
Minimum parking setback, a minimum parking setback of 20 feet from the near side of the crosswalk. The nearest parking space is recommended. Again, the distance can be shortened if curb extensions or bulb outs, but the National Highway Transportation.
It's new information.
It's not new information. It just wasn't resubmitted in your packet.
Was it in the original packets?
Yes.
Anybody remember seeing this? Mm-hmm. We'll put it on the record just to put it in the minutes. Okay. So John's saying there's a 20-foot setback on either side.
Again, the 20 feet is before or after? Does it say before and after? I thought I heard
it says a minimum parking setback of 20 feet from the near side of the crosswalk. Means
near side.
Wherever the parking spot is next to or near a crosswalk on either side.
It doesn't say either side anywhere.
Okay. So here we have it. We have a decision. There's a motion to leave as is, seconded. There is a conversation that says maybe technically we shouldn't have done what we did. And there was some other conversation supporting to do what we should do or what's being asked to be done. Is there anybody else who wants to speak to this? Anybody? Okay. Let's call the question. All those in favor of the motion, let's do a roll call. Mr. Thurston?
Yes.
Linda?
No.
Dave?
Yes.
Brian?
No.
I vote yes. Leave it as is. And I have a second idea, and it's a new item, and I won't bring it up for more discussion other than I do believe that we have a responsibility, maybe, to go back and to take a look at what was done in 2009. A lot of work was done by the Technical Advisory Committee, the Lakes Region Planning Organization. They defined parking, pedestrians, ADA access. They defined a whole bunch of things. It might not be a bad idea for us to put this back on the table and get people in this room and figure it out in such time that if we have to spend money on a warrant article, we go spend money on a warrant article. All the data is here. But we may not want to do that, but I'll let the board discuss that at some point in the future.
Paul, you dropped it, so I'm going to speak to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it should be done in a work session. I don't want to do it in a board meeting.
I think that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Does anybody have any objection to us having a work session to talk about this stuff?
I think we should talk about having a discussion and having Stantec do a study of the downtown corridor and then submitting it to DOT.
So just, and I might be wrong, you keep me honest on this one, Linda. Here's what I remember of this, because I had just pulled into town. Just showed up around here. I was reminded the other day that I've only been here since 2009, so I'm just a young'un. I found that to be troubling. I remember going to this meeting, and there was a lot of conversation about bump outs and plant pots. There was just a bunch of stuff. Don't you remember that?
There's been a series.
Yeah.
And I can see, I mean, this also had at one time, we talked about having everybody back in.
Rob wanted to do that for bikes.
I mean, I think we've talked about this, and I think this is, I'm glad you got that, and I think another thing it was talking about, well, maybe you want to vary the times in different areas for your parking.
Vary the what?
You give different times for different parking spaces. Like I know that we have 15 minutes in front of the post office. Well, do we put a couple 10 minutes in front of where coffee shops
That's
are?
in here.
That's what I'm saying. So I think there's a lot in here.
And I'm trying to respond to your comment. So we did not, my memory may be foggy, we did not invite the state, the DOT, to help here. It was it's when we were also doing the Wright Museum crosswalk. Remember that? And
that was later than
it was a little later, but
quite a bit later. That was when they came in, DOT came in
Correct.
and wanted to get rid of some of them, and we said no, we didn't want jaywalkers.
And so my point is, we've dug this ground. We have these documents. These documents, now by the way, people say the town of Wolfeboro has changed a lot. This is what it looked like in 2009. It looks pretty much the same as it is today. We've been here. And I disagree with you, Brian. I don't think we ought to pitch this to DOT and say, figure this out for us. I think we get this, to your point, Linda, get the people in the room and just wallpaper this place and slug it out respectfully, and then put whatever we need to do on the warrant. Go ahead, Brian.
So maybe we have to add to what we did, because according to state RSA, every stop sign coming up to a state roadway has to have 30 feet clear before it.
That's new information, but he's right, right?
So that means that on every side road that meets 28 in downtown, you got to take away another spot. So that means let's remove another 12.
So
or 10.
let's do this. We've passed the motion. Linda's recommending a work session. I think that's a good idea. I'll put it out for an agenda item, and we'll either do it or we won't. Okay? We're at 10 minutes to the hour, and thank you for tapping the watch. I appreciate that, Mr. Brown. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the 4th of July parking ban.
So moved.
Second. That's right.
Look how easy that one was, huh? All those in favor of the...
Aye.
Aye. It's the same ban as we've had before. We have discussion on our revised rules of procedure. Folks, we tackled this before. I'd like to try to get this thing settled.
I have one change.
I know you did. I knew he was going to do it. What?
So under page 6,
Hang on. I got to get there. Page 6, go ahead.
Yeah, cell phones. Cell phones must be silenced. Computers must be silenced so that we don't hear chirping, screeching, alarms, birds, or anything like that.
So you want to put an E?
You want to just put cell phones should be silenced?
Yes. No, cell phones, computers, all electronic devices should be silenced.
Okay.
So they're not disruptive.
Okay, so that's the output side of a cell phone. I think the intent of when we were discussing this was the input side of, and I'm gonna do this myself. I just read this thing from XYZ about ABC and entered as new information. We probably want to discourage that too, don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I have a motion to say cell phones and computers should be silenced. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I got a second on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Senecal?
Aye.
Okay.
Something.
John didn't vote.
Did you vote, John?
No, I didn't abstain.
You're abstaining?
Yeah, because you're, to hear a signal isn't anything.
I see. Okay, that's good. Fair enough.
On page...
We heard signals from the public too.
No, that's fair, but they're out there.
Well, this is,
They're on the other side of the fence.
this is select board
This is us.
rules and
All right,
procedures.
go ahead.
Okay, on page 5, in red, I'm assuming that's what we're inserting, and I have no idea why we have 97 and 98. In that red section, it is top of the page, second paragraph.
What page again, Linda?
I'm on page 5,
Okay.
and I'm assuming the red is what's being added, and I don't know what is emergency items by 97 vote. I think this is an error. I think the numbers
Let me
should...
take that one back and check with Amy. All right? I think that's a boo-boo.
I think that is.
We're going to call that fat finger.
I think there's a reference to line 97 and 8 if you,
Yeah.
but we don't have the lines.
No, we have lines, so
designated.
I can't make any sense out of it.
Okay. Aside from that, folks, let's try to do this. Aside from that, cell phones
No,
should be silent.
I have another one. I'm back to this before. We have, it says on page 6, request for information, second paragraph, any information provided to any individual select board member or town manager to any select board member shall be provided to the rest of the board and shall note the subject matter, details, description, and a note of any origin. And my feeling is that when we're saying or by the town manager, I think we're talking about the town manager's goals. I think it said before, any information provided to any individual select board member should be provided to the rest. Period. That says everything. All this other, I believe, relates to something we need to put in the town manager's
I have
goals.
a motion to strike.
No.
Okay, you can vote against it.
Well, discussion.
Okay, go ahead.
So, again, this is about a board member going into the town manager's office and having a discussion without providing that discussion to somebody else on the board, and it gives the impression that the other members of the board aren't going to hear about what is discussed, and that's why it says all information. So basically, you want to curb what is shared with the rest of the board.
I don't read it that way.
I don't either.
Here's how I read it. I think any information provided to any individual select board member or by the town manager to any select board member shall be provided to the rest of the board. And I think my colleague, Linda, said, right there you go, period. I don't know if that, why does that limit information?
Because it says all information. What's the matter? Why are you taking out all information?
No, I don't think there was anything in here that said all. And shall note the subject matter, a detailed description, and a note of any origin. That's what she's recommending you strike.
That's what I'm saying.
He wants that in. That's where we're...
Well, that was what was put in.
Okay.
And I think
It's not a goal and objective from...
Okay. Go ahead, Linda.
To write down every single time you've gone in and talked to the town manager and write down a description and a note, it just seems like we're just getting ridiculous on the amount of information. If I go in and I talk to the town manager about something, I look to see if that's back in his notes to the board. If it isn't, and I think it's important, I'll say something to him. But every time I go in there, I shouldn't have to write down and he write down what we talk about.
So this is on the record right now. It's not highlighted, but Linda, are you going to make a motion to strike that, or?
Yes, yes.
What are you going to strike?
I would like this paragraph to read, any information provided to any individual board member shall be provided to the rest.
Of the board?
Of the board, yes.
Period.
That's different than going in and saying every time you talk to the town manager, you have to take notes and make sure all those notes get to the rest of the board members.
So there's a motion to remove the words "and shall note the subject matter, a detailed description, and a note of any origin subject request." That's the motion. Do I have a second? There's no second on the motion. The motion fails.
And
So-
I've got a question, then we need to have a procedure of how that has to be done.
Yeah, probably.
It's just sitting here.
No, I agree. But the motion to remove that last sentence failed, and Linda's saying we need a procedure, which I think is probably right.
I would like to change that paragraph to just say, any information provided to a select board member by the town manager shall go to all select board members.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Because I don't think that...
Take out the rest, Brian.
Yeah, take out the rest. Because by common courtesy, and we should all be a little courteous, I take and when I send something to Amy or Barry and it's pertinent, it's very easy for me to say, please forward to the select board.
Yep. So
the entire select board I write.
Yep.
So when I discuss something with them, if it's pertinent and it's good information, even if I think some might not care if they get it, I make sure it's forwarded to everyone.
Yeah, I had a meeting with somebody the other day, and I reminded of something that when we act in this capacity, we're always on the record. So, Brian, reread your motion.
Any information provided by the town manager to one select board member should go to all select board members.
And I have a second by Linda.
Yep.
My discussion on that would be, if you modify it, it says, any information provided to any select board member by the town manager or from the, I want to make sure that we don't play a game here, and I know we don't, of course, that the town manager told me, and it has to be disclosed, but I told the town manager, we want to make sure that it's fully transparent. Are you okay with making it fully transparent?
So how would you change it?
I don't know. I like it the way it is, very frankly.
Jesus.
All right. Anyway, so
I'm going to start seeing a lot of notes coming my way from conversations you guys are having.
So we have a motion from Brian and a second by Linda. All those in favor of this motion? Brian? Yes.
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
John?
No.
Paul? No. Okay, so it wins. All right, that motion wins. All right. Okay, cell phones will be silenced. We got 3 minutes here. Anything else? We're going to vote on this next time. Any other that you have, Linda?
No, those are the ones.
Those are the ones you had? Okay.
Yep.
All right, good. In your packet, board members, was what did you call it last week, John? Survey
Monkey.
Survey Monkey.
Survey Monkey. So we have a work plan, and Mr. Thurston said, you guys got to figure out how to rank them and rack them and stack them. So Amy has built for us a survey tool. We've put all of our work plan proposals on that document. It's in paper copy for us. Amy's going to send us a link. We're going to vote on it, and it's going to cull out things that we think others should do. It's going to focus on things that we think we should do now. And the things that are in there are little items like water and sewer capacity studies and road studies. John, did you have a comment or question? I want to thank John for the Survey Monkey idea, because we were thrashing about a little while with that. And Brian gave me a call the next day and gave me some of his thought leadership on that. All right, we got 2 minutes. Any old business?
Yes, I have some
Linda.
old business. I would like to get the Rural and Scenic Road Committee up and running. I was doing some thinking about that, and I realized that, we have a historic district, and that historic district, even though we don't have a commission, is a good area for us to think about how we are taking care of our scenic and rural roads. I think we keep on hearing from the citizens that they want us to keep on having that rural area and that rural look. And also up in that area is where you've got 10-acre lots. And so it seems like a good area to start thinking about as we try to develop some standards for rural and scenic roads. So I don't know when you want to put that on the agenda, but I would like to have put on the agenda the formation of that committee. I think I first brought it up on April 1st.
You want to have a talking session, we talk about it?
I would like us to get to the business either tonight, and I don't want to do it tonight because it's not on the agenda. That's exactly what happens.
Gets us in trouble.
I would like that as an item on the next agenda for us to form the committee and decide how we want to address it.
Decide how we want to address it. Any objection to that?
No,
Brian, go
I
ahead.
have some other business.
Okay.
I'd like us to start going back and looking at motions that we made, that we all voted yes on, and making sure that we're following what we voted on. An example was on April 16, 2025, there was a motion that was made that we were going to receive detailed mapping for trails that were built and new trails that were going to be built in Abernathy before we allowed any more trail construction. Trail construction went on in 24, 25, and now it's happening again in 26. And our motion was we needed mapping first, and we haven't gotten that yet.
So what do you want to do? You want to get him back in the room?
Yeah, that was a motion that we made we didn't follow.
I recall that because you sent it to me.
I think we did get some maps. I don't think they're adequate. I'm with you, Brian, on it. They're not adequate. When I go out to walk on a trail and I get a map that is
Maps
just...
weren't accurate.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
So whatever, they can send me something else, and the one they sent us didn't have some of the trails going down to
Brian's
Abernathy.
exactly right. I mean, that we all pinky swore to ourselves that we wanted that, and we're almost a year later. We'll put that on the diary for something to do. Any other business, Brian?
Right.
John?
So I was contacted by 3 different people in the historical district, and I'm going to request a meeting with Barry to discuss the Cowper Road restoration plan, because this person has some serious concerns, and they had a contract with our Public Works, and we need to address some misgivings.
Okay, so you're not asking for anything on this board. You're just saying there's going to be a conversation with the town manager.
I'm going to ask that the chairman join us with that conversation at some point.
fine.
But I'm being transparent.
Yeah, good. Okay.
And as a courtesy, all the information discussed will
we'll
get
tell
forwarded
everybody.
to the rest of the board.
Well, maybe they can tape it, so we'd know everything.
Actually, I'm
Whatever
gonna-
the mechanism is, folks, whatever it is. All right, any other business? Town manager's report.
Yeah, not a lot. Visited the community center with a couple of board members, Linda and Brian. We did disprove the rumor that there was a furnace kicking around down there, but we found a few items that we need to address before the building, I guess, should be used for prime time. Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it.
Committee reports. John?
No.
Linda?
Yeah, I had 2 meetings with the Friends of Pop Whalen. They're working on their August golf tournament to help them pay for the Zamboni. Brian will do the EDC. I walked the bike trails with Barry and Brian, Stephen Clark, Rudy Myers, Bo Betts from Park and Rec, Dave Senecal, and that was a wonderful new employee for the wastewater treatment system, and her knowledge was fantastic. Very positive person. I went and inspected the community center with Barry, Brian, Christine, Scott, and Tom to make sure that it is ready to open. We did check the basement, and hopefully we can do some maintenance around the building. We talked about in terms of having it look better. Then the last thing I have here was Wolfeboro Waters held an informational forum on Crescent Lake Dam and water flow into Smith River. Had about 100 people there. There was concerns about the 5-year drawdown, that it isn't healthy for the lake. The property owners needed to be part of the calculation of the water level. A citizen pointed out that the 1991 lake level court ruling does not allow the water to be let out to keep water in Smith River. DES will check that ruling. A court ruling that cannot trump a state or federal law. The plan is to allow minimum flow in the Smith River for some habitats. There is no target amount. We're trying to figure out how much flow can be let out. And there were a bunch of other concerns. One of them was that there was a safety concern if the lake got very low, like last summer, but I want to point out that it stayed within the range. The plan moving forward is to understand the experience from last summer. The town is going to calculate this summer. It's going to be cautious this summer because of the drought. They're going to do the assessment over time, and when they do, the manipulation takes place. They're going to do it when the lake is full. They're going to try to get a rating curve, understanding the amount of water that's inflowing, what's evaporating, and what's going out, and what they can do to keep the lake within the 2-foot range, which is the level that it can fluctuate. They want the stakeholders to be involved, and this is a big hope that eventually can come to the point where everyone can live with the plan. Now, those like Wentworth, they're always arguing about lake level, so that is really the hope.
They care. Mr. Senecal.
Nothing.
Mr. Deshays.
So we left the EDC meeting early, didn't we, for the bike walk?
We did.
And the main discussions were Lake Winnipesaukee Day and planning for that, discussions of whether we should charge vendors or not. I think it's a community event and we should have it be a free event for all the vendors. We talked, or I brought up the troll, that there is now a troll committee being formed in town to have a 30-foot tall troll installed in the woods somewhere in the Wolfeboro area, which some communities have seen a $12 million return on investment for their tourist community for doing that. So I don't know. I wasn't sure about trolls, but then when I saw the numbers coming in, I'm like, maybe that's not a bad thing. We went to the community center and debunked the furnace. There is no furnace in the base. Well, there's a furnace in the basement, but it's the one that heats the building. There's not a second one waiting to be installed. We had a select board special meeting for the town manager recruitment. And the bike trail walk, which again, the trails are beautiful, but there's questions on saturation and there's questions on mapping. And those are the two biggest things that we have to figure out. And the potential need for expansion of our wastewater disposal facility.
That's it, Brian? All set? I apologize to the audience. We're past the runway. We're 10 minutes past, so I'll be brief. It is Municipal Clerks Week. So when you see Pat Waterman, give her a big hoorah. The governor signed something. This is a week to celebrate municipal clerks, and Pat Waterman stands tall among others. I've been involved with the planning board last night, budget committee. I've been spending a bunch of time on behalf of the board working on the recruitment of and all the stuff around the new town manager. And there's a couple of other things. I can't remember what I did. I didn't look at my diary because I had my phone off. So with that, I'll just, Barry, do we have questions from the press?
Nobody else is on, no?
Public input, 3 minutes. Please. Ms. Bunting.
Susan Bunting, Wolfeboro resident since 1985 and taxpayer for 40 years. I just saw something on Wolfeboro Community Center restoration I want to bring to your attention. You may have all read it already, but it's from a lady in this area that said, my grandchildren's birthday parties were all celebrated at the community center until about 3 years ago. We celebrated a family Thanksgiving there with 43 family members attending baby showers. We were told about 3 years ago we could no longer rent the community center for any functions. We now rent a place in Ossipee. I'm grateful the community center will be returned to the people of Wolfeboro. And I feel very happy, Barry, that you said that it's going to come back into prime time, because when I look at the budget for 2026, 1,500 of that in the budget is for communications, internet, but those of us who are still using the community center are not allowed to use the internet because we are not given the password. It's only for town employees who do not use the community center. Half of that budget of $10,600 goes toward building maintenance. The rest is various things. May we all be able to take care of our homes for $10,600 annually. This is probably one of the most inexpensive buildings that the town owns and maintains in Wolfeboro. For $10,000, you have this fabulous building that is not being used, has not been rented for 3 years, that's revenue left on the table, that's fiscal irresponsibility. It could pay for itself. Please do as Barry said, whatever needs to be done, and open this building for families and people to use again. Thank you.
Mr. Brown.
Good evening, Derek Brown, Libby Street. Just a few notes from tonight. First off, Forest Road. In, I'm going to say early December of 2025, previous town manager happened to let it fly that there was $231,000 for engineering oversight that was part of the original warrant article for the Forest Road sewer line extension that was not used. That was part of the approved plan. So part of me wonders, where's that money? And can that go to Mr. Randall to get an engineer to help him figure out what the hell is going on the Forest Road sewer line extension? So that's number one. Where is that money? And could that help him with that project? Number two, and this is equally important, when that system, for those that, probably most people that are sitting here, Jeff Owings and I spent a lot of time 2+ years ago on what was going on down there, again, with many people that are in this room. And one of the things that was beaten into our heads from DES, the approved design for the system that the state approved was based on a certain number of users to create the efficiency it needs. And that number was somewhere around, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere around 30 or more users, active users, to make it work right. Well, if we've got people getting waivers, if we've got people saying, oh, my system's fine now, we're taking that number way down. I think what is there, and again, Mr. Randall will have the number accurately probably at this point, less than 10, probably less than 6 actual users. That is likely contributing to your failures and your inefficiencies. So let's see part A again. 231,000. Previous town manager decided to take a waive. We don't need it. We're all set. Well, apparently you could have used it to have some oversight, to have some help on this. And one last but not least, noise ordinance for Wolfeboro. Supposed to be 6:30 through Saturday mornings. So I'm woken up, well, I'm up early anyway, but listening to industrial leaf blowers before 6:15 from a very popular landscape company in town. And by the way, I have the video of the pollution he's created, and I'm not talking noise pollution. I'm talking rock salt and dirt by the truckload that was pushed directly into your storm drain system. That is a nightmare. And I would like to share that with the board confidentially. I'm not going to mention the company's name for their privacy purposes, but it's for yours to handle. Everybody have a good, yes?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one.
5 times 3 is 15.
5 times 3 is 15. I guess we'll...
You want to go?
As long as we don't go more than 3.
Just quickly, Bobby Budman, First Hat. Just quickly, the Wi-Fi at the center is the alarm system. So that was what, in Budget Committee, that's what we voted on. Just, yeah, just so you know, I just wanted to let you.
Up here, please. Thanks.
Second Hat, Representative Bobby Budman, thank you so much for keeping that space after the crosswalk. As you know, I quickly reached out to New Hampshire DOT and to Michael O'Donnell at the Bureau of Traffic, and they did say the reason, and I'm only up here saying this because I think a lot of people don't understand, the reason for the spot after the crosswalk is because when you leave a parking space, you back up before you go forward. And that's when people get hit by cars, is when the car leaves the parking space. So I just think it's really important for the community to understand why the state has that in the RSA, why we have that 20 feet in front of the parking space and behind the parking space, because it's for backing up. Thanks.
Thanks, Bobby. 1 minute. Who says he's going to do a minute? 1 minute. Name, please, sir.
All right. Very quickly.
Name, please.
I was here.
Name, please.
Sebastian Tordonato.
Thank you.
I was here several months ago and we talked about this pipe, and I said that in order to rectify the problem fully, you had to get to find the source of the contamination. I fully endorse what's been done thus far. Unfortunately, we haven't found the source. Okay, what's happened is we've addressed the symptom, but we have not addressed what was causing it. Now, earlier tonight, Mr. Randall was telling us about how in the sewer line you're getting groundwater into the sewer line. So it stands to reason that if you can get groundwater into the pipe, you can get sewage water out of the pipe. And that was my fear, is that what's happening is you have a sewage leak somewhere, and it's getting into that drain line and somehow worked its way into that drain line. I'm not saying we have a sewer pipe going into the lake, but if you don't find the source, you're just going to move the problem to someplace else.
Thank you.
That's all I want to say.
Thank you, sir. More data. Yep. Okay. Apologize for going over time, and I mean that seriously. We promised ourselves we wouldn't keep you late.
I'll make a motion to go into non-public session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye. We have a motion and a second to go into non-public. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 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 aye. We're in non-public. Thank you.